Chapter 406. Suche, that's not how you kneel. Xianxia remained unmoving on the chair, his thin lips moving. When Suche heard the order, he promptly dragged the three of them from different positions and had them kneel on the ground to face Xianxia. I really couldn't tell that you three like being tortured so much that you're in such a hurry to kneel before me. Don't get too full of yourself, Xianxia. Offend me again and I'll make sure your whole family has no peace. Xianxia shot him a sharp glare, and Suche's palm landed precisely on the other man's face. I really couldn't tell that you would have the guts to cause trouble for the Xian family. Sure, I have no power or influence now. Why don't you try? You don't think I wouldn't dare? Xianxia could not be bothered to say anything and leaned back. Suche, you handle this. The other man did a double take. Suche's skills were no joke. Let us go, you bastard. Wait until we call for help if you dare. Xianxia couldn't help laughing at that. That was when Secretary He entered the private room with his men. However, he promptly frowned at the sight before him. One of the three rich young masters actually knew Secretary He and quickly begged for help. Secretary He, I'm Xiaolong. You know my parents, please help us. Xianxia is a lunatic. That's right. What's going on, Xianxia? Secretary He asked Xianxia instead. These three had me kneel and apologize the moment they came in. They probably want to experience what it's like to humiliate me now that I'm no longer in power. But they're the ones kneeling on the floor. Secretary He was taken aback. Suche went easy on them. Xianxia replied. Secretary He nodded and glanced at the others on the floor. The one called Xiaolong was hoping that Secretary He could save him, but Secretary He simply said, Suche, take him to the next room and kneel. But Secretary He only said, Suche, take him next door and kneel. You should be taught a lesson for running amok outside just because your parents are rich and powerful. The three of them were left dumbstruck at that. Understood. Secretary He, you two talk. I'll handle these three right away. The three of them soon left the private room and Secretary He asked Xianxia, you only have Suche with you. Is that enough? How about I find someone else to be responsible for your safety? Suche is more than enough. Xianxia smiled. Brother, although people like us shouldn't be extravagant when we travel and set a bad example for the outside world, you're too shabby. Basic safety needs to be guaranteed. Don't worry, I know what to do. Secretary He pointed at Xianxia and said nothing else. There was nothing he could do about him, and after working with Xianxia for some time he fully realized the youth's charm. Next door, the three scions of the aristocratic families were kneeling until their legs were numb. However, because Suche was watching over them, they didn't dare to act rashly. They could only cover their heads and whisper to each other. Didn't you say that the crown prince has no power? How did he know someone as important as Secretary He? Furthermore, it seems like their friendship isn't shallow. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have gotten involved in this mess. How does the crown prince look like he's losing power? It's fine if it's just kneeling, but I'm afraid that the crown prince will come after us in the future. Suche couldn't help smirking coldly at the trio. These people bullied the weak and feared the strong, and wouldn't be pitied even if their legs were broken from kneeling. Even so, after 2 hours of kneeling, the three scions felt as if their knees no longer belonged to them when Xianxia and Secretary He came out of the private room. Then the door to the private room was opened and both Xianxia and Secretary He stood outside. If we meet in public in the future, you'll still bully me like this? The trio promptly shook their heads. We won't do it again. What's there to be afraid of? Aren't you going to make my family suffer? Xianxia smirked and tidied his sleeves. Tell everyone you meet when you go out that you've beaten me black and blue and humiliated me. Well, are you serious, Crown Prince? There can't be a fourth person other than you three who knows about my meeting with Secretary He today, or else. We understand. We know what to do. Brother, do you want me to warn their parents about this? Secretary He couldn't help but threaten the three of them. That won't be necessary. I believe that they know what it means to be obedient. With that, Xianxia gestured for Suche to stop restraining them. Suche released them and walked out of the private room, following behind Xianxia as they saw Secretary He off. Even so, the trio who were kneeling in the private room shuddered at the thought of it. It's lucky that we didn't get into trouble. The Crown Prince is still the Crown Prince after all. How is this losing power? If he could be brothers with Secretary He, he's definitely not someone those businessmen could compare to. But isn't it an indisputable fact that he's from the Xing family? It's not something we young masters can guess what those people are thinking. What did the Crown Prince tell us just now? To tell everyone we meet that we've humiliated him. Is that what he meant? The trio looked at each other and eventually nodded in unison. He must be trying to pull the wool over our eyes. If that's the case, well, let's go out and brag. Shuddering, the trio rose to their feet and helped each other out of the hotel. They had intended to teach Xianxia a lesson, but they did not expect to be KO'd by him again. After seeing off Secretary Su-che watched as the trio left the hotel and asked Xianxia, "Should I go again?" "No need. Keep a low profile." With that, Xianxia had Su-che drive. "Let's go home." Su-che watched as the trio left and walked around the front of the car to get into the driver's seat. With those three helping him spread the word and distract old Xing's attention, he would have a much easier time. And just as he expected, the next morning, the news of Xianxia being humiliated by the three rich kids spread throughout Jianchuan. He was forced to drink and apologize. Naturally, none of them had the guts to ask Xianxia to kneel or crawl under him. That way, the people of Jianchuan truly realized that Xianxia was no longer a member of the Xing family. He was now someone anyone could step on. Mu Qiqi looked at the man who was having breakfast in confusion when she read the news. Were you bullied last night? Do you believe it?" Xianxia asked without looking up. Mu Qiqi shook her head. "Those rumors wouldn't have spread without your permission. It's to make things easier." Mu Qiqi nodded at that. "Like I said, who could touch a finger of yours?" Su-che crippled him first. "Do you believe in your husband or Su-che?" Mu Qiqi looked at him. Was he jealous of Su-che too? "I believe in Su-che's skills. Looks like I'll have to work harder to prove my abilities tonight." Xianxia answered without blushing or skipping a beat. Mu Qiqi was at a loss for words. Chapter 407. He has his own responsibilities now and is no longer my assistant. Xianxia answered meaningfully. The old man was actually in a good mood when he heard that Xianxia was being bullied. It was enough to prove that you are nothing after you left the Xing family. You are nothing. Who can you blame for being humiliated instead of being the crown prince? And that good-for-nothing son of his had left the Xing family and was now living with Fang Qin and Jing Ting. Old Xing's temper flared at the thought of Jing Ting. That bitch had clearly used the Xing family's assets to buy it, but she would not admit it now. It was fine. Since he could not take Jing Ting back anyway, it was better for no one to think about it. He did not seem to notice that his mentality was slowly becoming twisted. All he knew was that he had spoiled Xianxia too much in the past and never made him obedient, which was why he betrayed him later. He would never let himself lose his family again. Who would want to leave the Xing family? Not unless he died. And those who had left the Xing family would certainly pay the price for abandoning it. It was evening when Jing Ting caught fire. Papa Xing was drawing blueprints in his workshop, while Mama Xing was buying things for her husband in the mall. When the firefighters arrived to put out the fire, the entire mansion was already engulfed in flames. Papa Xing did not manage to save anything and only took out his blueprints and some valuable items, not even having the time to put on his shoes. When Mama Xing returned home to find Jing Ting in ruins, she looked everywhere for her husband. Xianxia had already received the news and hurried over with Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi quickly checked Papa Xing for injuries when she saw him. "Are you alright, Dad?" Papa Xing shook his head blankly. Then he handed the blueprints to Xianxia. "Go rest in the car. We'll keep an eye on things here." Why did it catch fire out of nowhere? Mama Xing looked at her husband's bare feet, her heart aching. The fire burned very quickly. I smelled it in the workshop. When I came out, the fire was already out of control. So I ran out. We will have to wait for the police to investigate the cause of the fire. Papa Xing recovered from the fire after much difficulty. Xianxia looked out the window. Jing Ting had been reduced to ashes just like that. By the time the fire was completely extinguished, Jing Ting was already in ruins. The firefighters came over to inform everyone, "This is definitely arson." When they were putting out the fire, they smelled the distinct smell of gasoline. As for the specifics, we will have to wait for further verification. "Thank you, officer." Mama Xing quickly thanked him. "You're welcome. The police tried their best to save some of your belongings. You can send someone over to check them. Since it was man-made, who else could it be?" The family immediately thought of the one from the Xing family. I really didn't expect that person to want us to die without a burial ground. I'm still inside. Let's not talk about anything else for now. You two will stay in the courtyard for now. Wait for Su Che to arrange a safe place for you. Xing Zhao's gaze was deep and cold. If it was proven that old Xing had sent someone to do it, the nature of the matter would be completely different. With that, Xing Xiao led his parents, who were still in shock, back to the house where he and Mu Qiqi were staying for the time being. There were guards here and it was close to the Xin family, which was why it was the best place for them to stay. I think Mom and Dad are really scared this time. Since the courtyard is so big, let's just let them stay here. There's no need to find another place. Mu Qiqi said to Xing Xiao when she returned to her room after helping her parents settle down. Xing Xiao said nothing as he sat on the sofa, his eyes as sharp as an eagle's. Mu Qiqi could feel his anger. If Grandpa Xing was really the one who did it, then he must be out of his mind. It was not that he couldn't set Jingting on fire, but he had to at least make sure that there was no one inside. Was he planning to kill his son and daughter-in-law by choosing to do it in the evening with everyone inside? What do you plan to do, Xiao? I'll investigate, and give them an eye for an eye. That's fine, but not an eye for an eye. We'll use other methods to get justice. After listening to Mu Qiqi's words, Xing Xiao regained his rationality. If it was before, he would have burned down Huang Yao's warehouse. But as Mu Qiqi said, what difference was there between this method and the old man's? Well, what method do you think we should use? Xing Zhao's black-bellied cells were starting to play tricks, and he asked the clever Mu Qiqi. What could be crazier than letting the entire nation know that he set fire to his own son? We're not afraid of anything now. Instead of burning his warehouse, it's better to burn his heart. Wouldn't Huang Yao's stocks fall if such a scandal were to spread? That's his way of making up for his losses. Xing Xiao couldn't help laughing at that. Are you trying to get Mom and Dad to put on an act? Mom and Dad's house was burned down. Are they not allowed to come out and complain? Xing Xiao pinched Mu Qiqi's nose at that. You're a black-bellied one too. I learned it all from you. You taught me personally, and a strict teacher produces a good student. With those words, Mu Qiqi got up from Xing Zhao's side, wanting to see if her parents needed anything else. Meanwhile, Xing Xiao gave Su Che a call. He would have the police investigate the matter and then blow it up and spread the news. Everyone in the Xing family received the news of Jingting being burned down even as they slept. It was only natural that such an ancient mansion was consumed by a fire in a matter of hours, and it naturally made the news. Jianchuan's people, on the other hand, knew very well whose house it used to be. Third brother promptly called Xing Xiao when he saw the news. Jingting was burned down. Our eldest aunt and uncle all right? Scared half to death, of course. Xing Xiao replied. Do you suspect that Grandpa did this? Wouldn't you suspect it even if he wasn't here? Third brother suddenly felt a little desolate as he watched the images of the fire spreading across the sky. My father was at home when Jingting caught fire. In other words, Grandfather doesn't just want to burn Jingting down, but also kill people. Don't overflow with righteousness and fight for justice, or you'll be the next victim. Xing Xiao warned. What do I have to be afraid of? After mocking him, third brother hung up and strode towards the old man's study. Even so, the old man was practicing calligraphy at the moment. Do you find it hard to calm yourself, Grandfather? It's easy to sleep when one is old. Then you must have heard about the fire at Jingting, right? What does a fire have to do with us? The old man appeared unusually calm, his emotions unaffected. Chapter 408. That's because he's unlucky. Is that so? You're not going to sleep well if you keep this up, Grandfather. Insolence. The old man put down his brush and flared up. Third brother, however, did not say anything. The old man assumed that Xing Zhao's family had nothing and could only watch as Jingting burned down. He definitely did not know that eighth brother was now the CEO of Zhongting. And behind eighth brother were the countless mysterious forces of Jianchuan. He wanted to burn down Jingting, didn't he? Fine. Just wait for eighth brother's revenge. That was why he did not continue arguing with the old man, and simply vented his frustrations in the Xing family's garden in a foul mood. Soon Xing Kai came to third brother's side and asked him, who was sweating profusely, Are you angry at Grandfather over the fire at Jingting? Third brother said nothing. Grandfather had been wronged for so many days. What's wrong with letting him vent? Isn't it just a house? At those words, third brother turned to second brother in shock, his eyes filled with disbelief. Second brother, don't you think you're becoming more and more like grandfather? When the fire started, eldest uncle was inside. If eldest uncle wasn't so lucky and was burned to death in the fire, do you still think that a house wouldn't matter? Didn't he end up fine in the end? After hearing this, Lao San immediately got up from the lawn. What was the saying? Now he realized that in this family, there was no common language between him and his family. It really made him want to run. He really did not believe that the old man would have a clear conscience if he had burned his own son to death. No, he no longer had a heart. The value of Jingting burning down was inestimable. If it were Mama Xing, would she be able to tolerate it? The old man must have thought that they wouldn't dare to trouble him even if they knew it was the Xing family. Did he really think that they were at their wits' end? On the next day, Suche had arranged for the media to arrive at the ruins of Jingting, with Papa Xing and Mama Xing being interviewed as promised. Naturally, the media had all memorized their scripts under Suche's instructions, and knew what questions to ask and how to lead public opinion. I heard that the old chairman, the person in charge of the Xing family, had personally come to Jingting a few days before Jingting was burned down to reclaim the house, but failed. Is that true? Jingting is a gift I prepared for my son and daughter-in-law. I bought this property with my own savings. The money came from my maiden family, said Mama Xing. I've also heard rumors that Chairman Xing is venting his anger on you because of Xianxia, and wants you to divorce your husband. Is that true? Because of my son, my father-in-law had a lot of opinions about me and wanted to chase me out of the family. My husband couldn't stand being oppressed and left the Xing family with me. But I didn't expect that something like this would happen right after we moved into Jingting. When the fire started, my husband was still in it. Now that I think about it, I'm scared. Mama Xing replied while wiping her tears. I heard from the police that the fire in Jingting was man-made. Did you and your wife offend any enemies? No. The couple shook their heads at the same time. Is it possible that someone is trying to take revenge on you? It's hard to say. Did you suspect anyone? Who else could it be? Mama Xing's answer was very artistic. She did not mention any names, but with so much information laid out, everyone naturally knew who she was referring to. It was the chairman of Huang Yao. All at once, the discussions stirred up a storm. Old Xing was quickly pushed to the forefront of the storm. Although the media did not mention the Xing family and only used a certain corporation, everyone with a discerning eye knew that the person who set the fire and did not hesitate to sacrifice his own son was the chairman of Huang Yao. When Sheng Kai learned about it, he quickly had his company's PR team handle it. Even so, the video of Mama Xing crying was spread everywhere. Everyone sympathized with the weak and Xianxia was left with nothing, and yet old Xing was still trying to kill him. Was that not hateful? It was common for rich families to fall out, but there were always people who would come out to pretend that things were peaceful, which was why it was merely a temporary entertainment in the eyes of the onlookers. However, the scale of the fire and the loss of human life was different. Moreover, Xianxia had people working on it. That was why the incident became a hot topic in the headlines for days. Hence, Huang Yao's reputation and shares all started to fall. Who told you, old man, that powerless people can't retaliate? In just a few days, Huang Yao's market value has dropped by billions. That's enough to buy dozens of Jingtings. Of course, such a scandal would not last. Huang Yao's status as a diamond kingdom was unshakable, just as it would not be destroyed by such a small scandal. As long as Huang Yao took some remedial measures, it was only a matter of time before it returned to its previous level of stability. Even so, it was a great loss even if it was just a few days. We really can't underestimate eighth brother. He made Huang Yao suffer such a loss without even breaking a sweat. Old Xing smirked when he saw the reporters crowding outside the Xing family's house. He's a centipede that's still alive. That's probably how you describe him. Still, Grandpa, did you really order someone to set Jingting on fire? Do you have proof? Old Xing asked second brother in return. Just mind your own business and lead Huang Yao well if you don't have any evidence. By the way, the date of your engagement with Gu Xiling has been confirmed. It's on the 15th of next month. It's only a few days, so prepare well. Got it. Of course, it was not something that would make Xing Kai happy. But it did not seem that bad either. He just felt infinitely sad. After witnessing Huang Yao's loss with their own eyes, Papa Sheng and Mama Sheng finally breathed a sigh of relief. It was fine that Jingting was set on fire, but they could not let the old man be so fearless. After all, it involved human lives. Now the old couple was staying in another courtyard. The first floor was where they moved around, while the second floor was Mu Qiqi and Xing Zhao's territory. Qiqi's idea this time was really good. Your father and I wouldn't have to worry so much. It's the age of information now. Even if there's no proof, Huang Yao would suffer as long as we can get hold of the explosive point and spread it. We're barefooted, so we're not afraid of them. Mu Qiqi explained. Why would I bother with him if your father wasn't almost burned to death? I can't take it lying down that he doesn't even care about his own son's life. Chapter 409. He probably thinks that this is the best way to deal with a traitor. That's why not just Dad and Mom should be safe, you too. He should at least be wary of the Shen family, Mu Qiqi answered. It's just that if he continues like this, he will only push himself into an endless hell. He's already so old. Why would he care about heaven and hell? The Sheng family had been discussing the engagement ceremony for Xing Kai and Gu Xiling. It had been set for the 15th of next month, but seeing that the previous engagements did not end well, Xing Kai suggested to the Gu family that they should just get married. Either way, he had set his mind on Gu Xiling as his daughter-in-law. While the Gu family was afraid of being rude, old Xing did not care about such trifles and told Mama Gu over the phone, Xiling's visit to the Xing family is the same as announcing to the world that she is the Xing family's daughter-in-law. It's the same as an engagement, and it is only right for them to get married. The Gu family was also afraid of causing trouble, and so agreed to old Xing's suggestion. That was why the two youngsters were being toyed around by the older generation like toys. Third brother could only sigh when he saw the scene at home. No wonder eighth brother was willing to bear the name of a traitor just to cut ties with the Xing family. Wouldn't anyone go mad at the old man's control over his children? To prevent old Xing from arranging his own marriage, third brother felt that he should be more proactive and find a rich young lady of equal status. At the very least he should like her, right? Looking at Gu Xiling and second brother, he felt his scalp prickling and his heart trembling. Xing Kai appeared to be submissive on this matter, but it was not difficult to tell from his conversations with third brother that something had changed in his heart. After all, he increasingly felt that he was in this predicament today because Xianxia had selfishly abandoned the Xing family. He had to take over Huang Yao and Gu Xiling. The pressure was making it harder and harder for him to breathe. He would go mad sooner or later, wouldn't he? Mu Qiqi assumed that old Xing would be wary of the Shen family. However, would a man who would burn Jingting be stingy enough to lay a trap in Xingting? Since Mu Qiqi had been borrowed by the forensics lab for a period of time during the start of the semester, she found the atmosphere of the school a little weird when she returned. Of course, she had always been a loner and did not have any good classmates. The boy who had chased after her with the banner had disappeared without a trace. She did not know if Xiao had told him to get lost behind the scenes. It was also because she had accumulated a lot of experience in the forensics lab during the holidays that the lecturer would let her go up first to give a demonstration when the dissection class started. However, Mu Qiqi was not the one with the best grades in the Faculty of Forensic Science. Why was Mu Qiqi so valued? Feng Xianxian was the one with the best overall grades. She had a pretty face and a rich boyfriend. She was also quite popular in the school because of her versatility. During the first semester of her freshman year, there were many rumors about Mu Qiqi. Although she entered the school with high grades, she did not show a strong ranking. After all, there were too many masters in Xingting University. However, ever since she followed her tutor to the criminal investigation team to be an assistant during the holidays, the atmosphere of the entire forensic science faculty had changed. Her tutors and professors were mentioning her more and more as well. The girls gossiped about Mu Qiqi more and more, especially Feng Xianxian's group. I don't know why Mu Qiqi is so smug. Everyone was wary of her before because she was the crown prince's woman. But now, does she really think she's something? That's right. Her grades are not as good as our Xianxian's, and she is not as pretty as our Xianxian. Most importantly, our Xianxian can sing and dance and is brimming with talent. But why are the lecturers treating this bastard with two fathers as a treasure? Should keep it down. Her uncle is the mayor of Jianchuan after all. That's her uncle, not her father. Isn't her father a cripple? A group of girls were gossiping about Mu Qiqi in the washroom. They seemed to find her an eyesore. Why don't we think of a way to teach her a lesson? They quickly came to a consensus. But the real Feng Xianxian did not want to join such a fight. She had people to stand up for her, which was why she was the proudest. Mu Qiqi was smart and not easy to get close to. They would definitely fail if they tried to teach her a lesson using traditional methods. Therefore this group of girls came up with a very vicious move. Wasn't Mu Qiqi close to the lecturer? Then they would pretend to be Mu Qiqi and post it on the school forum, exposing the lecturer's private affairs. They would form a group of 3. One would write the content, one would check for bugs, and the last would find a remote internet cafe to post it on the school forum. And they would do it in the middle of the night. So the next day Xingting University's forum exploded. An alumnus named Zhou Nongtong had posted a post that alluded to the lecturer of the forensics faculty. As soon as the post was posted, someone deliberately led people to guess that the alumnus was Mu Qiqi. The incident soon reached the lecturer's ears, and she called Mu Qiqi into her office with a red face. "Qiqi, I've been treating you well, haven't I? How could you bite the hand that fed you?" Mu Qiqi was puzzled. "I don't understand, Professor. What do you mean?" The lecturer took out her phone and threw it at Mu Qiqi. "See for yourself." Mu Qiqi picked up the phone and read it before explaining to the lecturer, "I didn't post it. You're the only girl interning in the criminal investigation unit. Who else could it be?" The lecturer's face turned ugly. "Don't think that you can be so arrogant just because you're an assistant in the forensics lab. Go back and delete the post and I'll forgive you this time." Mu Qiqi did not try to defend herself. She knew that it would not have any effect and would instead make the lecturer hate her even more. So she turned and walked out of the lecturer's office. "Oh, isn't that Mu Qiqi who posted an attack on the lecturer on the school forum?" She was called to her office. The lecturer used to like her a lot, but now she must feel disgusted as if she had eaten a fly. Mu Qiqi did not say much even as she listened to the discussions of her classmates. Still, there was an awkwardness between her and the lecturer when she returned to class. Chapter 4:10. She had suffered a lot of bullying in middle school because of Mu Tongxue, and could not escape even in high school. And now she was being bullied in university? That was absolutely impossible. As such, Mu Qiqi promptly logged into the school's forums, using Mu Qiqi's real name to post a post. "To the person who framed me, you have 3 days. If you don't take the initiative to come out and claim your post, after 3 days, this place will be plastered with evidence of you framing me. I'm not the type of person to swallow my anger." Everyone in the school was in an uproar after Mu Qiqi's post. They had thought that Mu Qiqi would definitely take the blame, but she was still fighting back. That made sense. Although Xianxia was no longer the crown prince, Mu Qiqi was still the daughter of the Shen family. Moreover, with her cold personality in school, it was impossible for her to tolerate being framed by others. Still, would anyone really come forward to admit their mistake with her warning? Of course not. Trying to trick me? Does she think I'm that gullible? Evidence. If Mu Qiqi could find any, I'll cut off my head and let her kick it like a ball. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the professor is looking at Mu Qiqi with disgust. Of course. Why doesn't she see how smart our plan is? The 3 girls were having a wild discussion in the washroom, as if such a trivial matter could really hurt Mu Qiqi. When they got home, Mu Qiqi did not tell Xianxia that she was bullied in school, and only asked Zhou Xian if he had learned detective skills in the army. Zhou Xian shook his head but answered, "I know a senior in this field. He specializes in computer crime research. I want to check the IP address. Why don't you tell me what happened, Miss Mu Qiqi? That way I would know how to help you." Xianxia raised a brow at the 2 girls, his eyes hiding his displeasure. That little one was not going to tell him first when she got home, but to Zhou Xian? It had been a long time since she was spanked. Mu Qiqi paused for a moment but still told them about what happened in school. After Xianxia heard that, he said to Zhou Xian, "Find the IP address of that post. If it's an internet cafe or something like that, immediately get the surveillance footage. Then, get the student list and photos of Cheer's class and look for it. Of course, it would be better if it was his home address, but I don't think he's that stupid. Don't worry, Chief Sheng. Just give me 1 night." With that, Zhou Xian left the courtyard. It was only then that Xianxia crooked his finger at Mu Qiqi. Knowing that she couldn't escape, Muchichi strode over and sat on his lap. However, Xianxia simply pressed her upper body down and slapped her butt twice. The first thing you do when you get home is to look for Suche, right? I also don't want you to be distracted by this kind of thing. I can handle it myself. Everything was fine last semester. Why did you suddenly attract trouble from your classmates? I've been a loner in school and rarely interact with others. Moreover, you're not the crown prince now. Those people must have found me an eyesore and are trying to frame me. Muchichi answered. I didn't keep it from you on purpose. I just thought that you would make a mountain out of a molehill. You're so powerful that even Xingting would tremble if you make a move. It would be even harder for me to keep a low profile then. Xianxia said nothing. Not only would he trouble Qi'er, he would also thoroughly investigate if the Xing family had anything to do with it. You want to keep a low profile when you're my woman? Xianxia teasingly straightened her body. Teach those people a lesson. I've always been the one humiliating others. No one could humiliate me. That's you. You and I are one. We are one. Holding back her laughter, Muchichi quickly raised her hand and swore. From now on, I'll tell you immediately, no matter how big or small it is. It's good that you know. With those words, Xianxia patted Muchichi's butt. Go. I still have documents to read. Muchichi nodded and kissed Xianxia on the cheek, before leaving his legs in satisfaction. Suche did not fail his mission. In just one night he had not only obtained the IP address of the culprit, but also obtained the surveillance footage of the internet cafe. He had also successfully verified which of Muchichi's classmates had caused such a ruckus. The next morning, Muchichi smiled when she saw what Suche had sent her. Looks like you're a strengthened version of Jingyun. You're as fast as Jingyun and you're even better than Jingyun. You're the one Xiao chose after all. Suche said nothing and simply stared at Xianxia. Noticing that he was tired, Xianxia told him, Go back and rest. You don't have to report to me in the morning. Thank you, Chief Xing. Having gotten the evidence, Muchichi had an idea of what those people were up to. Still, most of the students in the school were doubtful that Muchichi could find the culprit. Most of them believed that she was pretending to be innocent to divert attention because things had gotten out of hand. But the truth was that it was all a show she had written and directed herself. Of course, Muchichi did not show it immediately even though she had gotten the evidence. She would have to wait until the third day for things to get interesting. As expected, there was no reaction under Muchichi's post even after 2 days. The culprit was fearless, and Muchichi probably could not find any evidence either, could she? I really want to know if Muchichi could really produce evidence tomorrow. How could she clear herself of insulting a student like her mentor? Muchichi was now the target of public criticism. That post was simply too powerful, and it was understandable for students to attack each other since it was the impulse of youth. However, her mentor had always been so kind to Muchichi. How dare she humiliate others behind her mentor's back? There was no way she could clear herself of such a thing. Over the last 2 days, her mentor's expression was as ugly as ever, especially when she saw Muchichi. It was as if the fire in her heart was suddenly ignited. She could not hold back her sarcasm in her words. Everyone in the faculty was watching her make a fool of herself. After all, Muchichi was still acting so aloof even without the crown prince's support. It was no wonder that she was being taught a lesson. Muchichi should have her lessons outside the classroom from now on. Her mentor is in a bad mood for the entire class when she comes in, and we're in trouble too. That's right. I really don't know what she's thinking. Our mentor is so kind to her. Meanwhile, Feng Xianxian and the others were lifting brows at each other. They felt that their plan was a success when they saw how much everyone hated Muchichi. Chapter 4:11. That afternoon, halfway through class, the forensics lab sent someone to look for Muchichi. They asked her to help out at the forensics lab after class. Because of the shortage of manpower recently, the professor needed her a lot. But because of the post, Muchichi was mocked from all sides. You should call the professor at the forensics lab and tell him about Muchichi's situation. How can someone like her be the professor's assistant? Muchichi's tutor did not let her go this time. She warned Muchichi directly, You are a student after all. Since you are in school, you should focus on your studies. Don't go out every few days. How am I going to explain this to the other students? Teacher, the professor only told me when class is over. Are you going to control my time too? Mu Qiqi retorted. Look at your arrogant attitude. You're just a freshman. Don't you know what humility is? The premise of respecting others is that they respect me too. Mu Qiqi was neither humble nor pushy. If there is nothing else, I will leave first. Wait. Feng Xianxia and the other 4 girls walked towards Mu Qiqi. You have really opened my eyes. You are born with 2 fathers from the start. We really can't afford to offend you, right? The teacher is educating you for your own good. But you are still trying to take advantage of me. Who gave you the courage? Mu Qiqi's expression was not as calm when she saw them walking towards her. But she laughed. Your house is in the south of the city. The internet cafe is in the north. It is a 3-hour drive. You're really generous. The girl's expression changed when she heard that. But Mu Qiqi did not say anything else. She turned and left. What did she say to you? You are so scared. Did she threaten you? The girl shook her head. She thought about it carefully and felt that Mu Qiqi was trying to trick her. Mu Qiqi did not have any evidence at all. Otherwise, if she knew that she went to the internet cafe in the north of the city, why didn't she just post the evidence? She was clearly trying to scare her. So she felt at ease and continued to think of another way to frame Mu Qiqi. And their mission was to chase the annoying Mu Qiqi out of Xingting University. After class, Mu Qiqi went to the forensics lab to help the professor examine the newly discovered dismembered body. When the professor saw her, he asked, "Did you suffer from campus violence?" Mu Qiqi was stunned for a moment before she smiled. "Professor, do you still care about this? You're actually very gentle. You just don't like to interact with others. In the eyes of others, you're a little unsociable. Plus, your relationship problems have given you a halo, so it's normal for you to be ostracized." The professor answered Mu Qiqi's question as he pieced the corpse together. "Then, Professor, do you also think that I'm the kind of person who posts on the internet? You have classes in the day and come to my forensics lab at night. When you go home, you have to spend time with your boyfriend. I really can't think of any other time for you to do such things," the professor replied. "Just solve it properly. Don't worry too much about it." "Professor, how did you know?" "Your tutor called me and asked if I wanted to change to a student with better grades." Mu Qiqi was helpless after hearing that. To think that her instructor was so vengeful. "Do you know what I said to her? She has no bearing as a teacher. She's already a few decades old and has no ability to distinguish. I hope she'll be fired soon." "Thank you, Professor." "What are you thanking me for? Hurry up and help me. This is a serial murder case and the higher-ups have given us half a month to solve it. The police have brought back a whole car of corpses, and we have to ascertain the number and identity of the victims as soon as possible." "All right." Mu Qiqi and the professor worked for 6 hours starting in the afternoon before they finally pieced the corpses together. There are 2 males, 2 females, and a child. In other words, a family of 5 was killed. At the moment, we're missing the heads of the 5 corpses, the right hand of the male, and the internal organs of their bodies. It's as if they were slaughtered fish, completely hollowed out. The way the corpses were cut open is also very strange. It's not from the front but from the side. The professor nodded when he was done reading and told Mu Qiqi, "You've worked hard today. Go home. I'll handle the rest." Mu Qiqi nodded, packed her things, changed her clothes and left the team. Outside, Xianxia was driving his little one to get off work. "Why are you here all of a sudden?" "I called you but you didn't answer. It's a big case and I've been piecing the corpses together all afternoon so I didn't pay attention." Mu Qiqi replied. "How did the school react today?" Mu Qiqi did not dare to be rash when she remembered her promise to Xianxia yesterday. Hence she told Xianxia everything that happened in school today, including how her tutor was troubled. Xianxia did not say a word after hearing everything. Even so, his heart was in turmoil. He could not bear to see his little one being wronged. When Qi released the evidence tomorrow, he would first make an example out of the girl who framed Qi. As for Qi's tutor, he had other ways to make her disappear. Did she really think that he could not protect his woman just because he was not the crown prince? The next morning was the 3rd day that Mu Qiqi had promised to release the evidence. Many people were waiting in the forum to see if Mu Qiqi would really release the so-called evidence. After all, the culprit did not come to claim the post that humiliated her tutor from start to end. The campus group was also in an uproar. Is Mu Qiqi coming or not? Isn't she still in class? Will she release the evidence? I think she's the culprit. I also agree. What evidence can she produce? Isn't she just trying to divert everyone's attention? Xianxia and the others were always online and scrolling through the campus forum, because they wanted to know if the coward Muqiqi really had evidence. However, there was no news from Muqiqi even after noon. Everyone cried out in disappointment. I should have known it was Muqiqi's trick. I shouldn't have trusted someone like her. She even dares to diss her tutor. Muqiqi, you should just come out and apologize. It's so embarrassing. However, when everyone went to lunch, Muqiqi's post was finally updated, and the students who were having lunch suddenly saw the so-called evidence. Look everyone, Muqiqi has updated her post. Chapter 4:12. Then the IP address of the poster was shown, followed by the address of the internet cafe where the IP address was located. Then the video of the culprit entering the internet cafe to post the post was shown. Muqiqi was also considerate enough to show the high-definition photo of the girl and the name list of the forensics faculty. That way everyone would have an idea. What was even more ridiculous was that the video of the girl posting in the internet cafe was zoomed in. While her body blocked part of the video, the nickname was clearly the one who had insulted the lecturer. The truth had suddenly been revealed in broad daylight. Damn, this is irrefutable evidence. Muqiqi actually managed to find it. So Muqiqi really is innocent. That's amazing. Full marks for Muqiqi's counterattack. Those who were watching the show were completely satisfied after seeing Muqiqi's evidence with their own eyes. After all, it was in line with the audience's mentality to watch a good show. What was even more unexpected was that Muqiqi did not care about the reputation of the culprit at all, and directly zoomed her photo and name on the computer screen. It was hard not to notice. Xianxia and the others' expressions changed at once when they saw it. The culprit, who was posted on the school's website, quickly covered her face and left the cafeteria to return to her dormitory. It turned out that what Muqiqi said yesterday about the incident in the north and south of the city was true. She had the evidence, but she did not release it immediately and was waiting for them to let their guard down. The girl felt a chill down her spine at the thought. How was she going to stay in school now that the matter was exposed? What should she do? The lecturer looked embarrassed when she saw the result. She had really lost her head in a moment of anger, which was why she really thought that Muqiqi was the culprit, and even called the forensics lab's professor. The shame in her heart was pouring out uncontrollably. How could this be? How am I going to face this student in the future? That afternoon, Muqiqi went to class as usual. However, the girl who posted the post was not in the classroom, and the lecturer was even more embarrassed than before when she saw Muqiqi. Only she knew the reason. The lecturer wanted to find a chance to apologize to Muqiqi, but Muqiqi did not seem to care about her. After class, Muqiqi wanted to go to the forensics lab again, but was stopped by Xianxia and the others. Muqiqi, you really are a scheming B*TC. Why didn't you release the evidence when you had already collected it? Why did he have to wait for 3 days? You're just playing to the gallery, aren't you? Muqiqi looked at the two of them and Xianxia behind them and smiled. I can release them whenever I want. What? You want to be my boss? Don't get too full of yourself. Just wait and see. With that, the three of them were about to leave, but Muqiqi stopped them. I've seen the writing style of the post and the girl's writing style. I don't think it was written by one person. There should be room for further investigation. What do you think? Muqiqi asked. Feeling guilty, the other two hastened their steps and left. It was then that the instructor approached Muqiqi and said, I'm sorry, Qiqi. I've wronged you. That's fine. The professor didn't believe it anyway, Muqiqi replied sarcastically. Sure enough, the mentor's expression was extremely ugly. Now that it's out in the open, what do you want to do with that, classmate? It's up to the school to decide. I don't have that much authority and I still have to go to the forensics lab. Goodbye, teacher. What a tough bone. So hard to chew. After all, the instructor never thought that Muqiqi could be so stubborn. Meanwhile, Xianxia and the others quickly comforted the girl who was hung when they returned to the dormitory. It's fine, it's not a big deal. I'll get my dad to talk to the principal. He can get a lighter punishment for this. But it was the idea of the three of us in the first place. the girl said, sobbing on her bed. The girl sat on the bed and cried while saying, "Why do I have to bear the consequences alone after it happened? Well, everyone's scolding you anyway. If you expose us, you'll be scolded by 3 people. We can't stand that little bitch Muchichi, and if we're all exposed, how are we going to deal with her in the future?" It was true that 3 people make a tiger. And the girl who posted the post was clearly the dumber one and was used as a gun by the other 2. Of course, Xianxia was the smartest person in the matter. She did not have to do anything and just watched as others risked their lives for her and might even be punished. It was a pity that the matter would not be over so easily, going to the principal to settle things. This time it was up to Xianxia to play a more advanced trick behind the scenes. The incident kept spreading on the school's website, and the girl did not show up for class for 2 days. They were all in a small group, and the other 2 went to and from class as usual as if nothing had happened. Of course, they kept their promise and asked the parents to talk to the principal. Framing a classmate could be severe or light, and could be exempted from punishment as long as one could find a suitable excuse. That was why the principal was very straightforward in his reply. But no one expected that Xianxia would do the same as Xianxian and the others. Of course, he did not show up in person, and instead sent Zhou to deliver his and Grandpa Shen's verbal message. The principal was about to turn off the lights and go home, but an important guest came to visit. Soon, Zhou entered the principal's guest room, and the principal breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that it was a young man. He asked, "What can I do for you, sir?" "I'm Xing Zhao's assistant." Zhou introduced himself. The principal knew at once that he was here for Muchichi. But Xianxia was in an awkward position now, and he was no longer the crown prince of Huangyao. He could not intimidate others. "Well, what can I do for you? I'm sure you won't be lenient with Muchichi's case because of a friend's request, will you?" Zhou asked. "Well, it's actually not that serious. Moreover, the girl has received the punishment she deserves now that the matter has been exposed. It seems that the headmaster is not afraid of Mayor Shin and our old chief. Muchichi is the granddaughter the old chief dotes on the most, and the mayor and Muchichi are like father and daughter. I came here today because the Shin family asked me to. Of course, the most important thing is my boss, Xianxia." "Well, what do you mean, Mr. Sheng? Are you going to punish her severely?" The principal's gaze was rather frivolous. Clearly he could care less about the Shin family. But what about Xianxia? There was nothing to be afraid of, was there? Chapter 413. Of course I don't mean that. Well, have you heard of Zhongting headmaster? Zhou asked the principal again. The principal paused and said, "It seems to be a rising military enterprise. If you've heard of Zhongting, why aren't you afraid of Xianxia? I think you should be more wary." With that, Zhou took out a photo of Xianxia and secretary he playing golf together. The principal jumped in surprise when he saw it. "Why isn't there any news from the outside?" "Because Chief Xing is keeping a low profile. But even if he is, I hope that you'll treat him with respect. What do you think? Of course, you could insist on your own opinion and not believe what I say, although it would be a little awkward when the time comes. It would be weird if the principal did not understand such a strong threat. Our CO Xing doesn't need special treatment from you. As long as this matter is dealt with according to usual practice, it will be fine." "I understand." The principal quickly whipped out a handkerchief and wiped the sweat off his forehead. After all, he knew very well that the Shin family and Zhongting would be the most prominent family in Jianchuan in the future. Moreover, the frightening thing about Xianxia was that he could turn something rotten into something magical at any moment. Moreover, Chief Xing doesn't want the outside world to know his identity, and hopes that you can keep it a secret, headmaster. "That I can do. Well, we'll be waiting for your news." With that, Zhou even reached out to shake the principal's hand. He did not think that he was shockingly strong, but saw that the principal's entire palm was white when he pulled his hand back. He was a tough nut to crack. The principal felt cold sweat all over his body. He could not afford to offend either side, but if Zhou was telling the truth, Xianxia was certainly more frightening. This matter must be handled properly. Xianxian's clique thought that they had already spoken to the principal, and all they did was find an excuse to apologize and say that it was April Fool's Day in advance. They did not think that the matter would blow up so much and would cover it up a little. Even so, would things really go as they wished? "Don't worry, Nuanyuan. We've already arranged things for you with the principal. After this matter blows over, no one would notice you. The girl called Nuanyuan believed in her best friend. However, the school still had to make a decision on the punishment. They had thought that the matter would be swept under the rug with an apology. However, the female student had framed a fellow student and caused a huge negative impact, tarnishing the reputation of her faculty. That was why the school had decided to give her a demerit, and she would have to publicly apologize to Mu Qiqi and the teacher involved. A demerit was tantamount to a stain on a student's record. Therefore, the school would not consider students who were punished for any further studies. After seeing this result, the small group was dumbfounded. Hadn't he already gone to work with the principal? Why did it still become like this? When this result came out, the girl named Nuanyuan completely lost her balance. It was clearly the idea of the three of them, but now she was the only one who had to take the blame. The other two knew that she was upset, so they tried their best to flatter her. However, no matter how prepared they were, they could not prevent Nuanyuan from returning home, could they? She cried and told her parents what had happened. Her parents slapped her twice. Are you crazy or stupid? How could you do such a shameful thing and take the blame for the other two girls? They are clearly using you. Can't you see? Moreover, you still have to do such a low-level thing like framing a fellow student. You wasted my money to get into such a good school. Go apologize to Mu Qiqi. Also, don't hang out with your small group anymore. Make this matter public and no one will have a good ending. Let my daughter take the blame alone? What kind of rubbish parents taught a rubbish daughter? All in all, Nuanyuan thought about it all night and felt that her parents' words made sense. Why should she be the only one crying when something happened? Moreover, she had noticed more than once that the other two in Xianxia were having fun behind her back, never caring about her feelings. Instead, it was better for everyone to be sad. So the next morning, Nuanyuan was waiting for Mu Qiqi at the school gate. When he saw Mu Qiqi coming in from the school gate, he walked up to her and said, "Mu Qiqi, I'm sorry about this. I apologize to you." Mu Qiqi looked at her and then at her parents behind Nuanyuan. So her parents came with her. Perhaps that was why she had the courage. The punishment is out. I've gotten my justice. Since you have apologized, I won't pursue it anymore, Mu Qiqi said honestly. I just hope that you won't do such senseless things in the future. You're an adult now. Be more mature. I understand. I will give you an explanation, Nuanyuan said sincerely to Mu Qiqi and returned to her parents' side. Then she posted the video she had recorded at home on the school's website. The framing of Mu Qiqi was actually planned by me and the other two girls. At that time, we just couldn't get used to Mu Qiqi's arrogant look, so we wanted to teach her a lesson. I never thought that things would develop to this point and that I would be directly exposed. Perhaps this is what they mean by, if you don't want people to know, don't do it. I'm posting this video today not to shirk my responsibility, but to the other two masterminds, please step forward and say a few words. After the incident, you let me take responsibility for the whole thing on my own. I feel like I can't handle the burden. Since 3 people are in the wrong, please step forward bravely. My 2 best friends, Feng Rong and Lu Jingjing. After the incident was posted, the school's website exploded again. This was a godly plot. One person implicated a small clique. This Nuanyuan will come out and take the blame. After the appraisal, the other 2 cowards dare not come out and admit it. Damn, cliques are so powerful now. They don't even need to resort to such lowly means to bully people. The freshmen are so free. The other 2 girls almost exploded when they learned that they had been exposed. None of them expected Nuanyuan to have such a trick up her sleeve. And Feng Xianxia, whom they had been supporting, was nowhere to be found. Chapter 4:14. Mu Qiqi saw what happened to those 3 as well as the disdain the entire school had for them. That was probably Nuanyuan's so-called explanation for her. However, Mu Qiqi did not have the time to waste on them because there was new development in the case of the family of 5 that was wiped out. The 5 people only appeared to be a family, but after a DNA check, it was found that they came from 5 different families. However, the police did not receive any missing person reports around the area where the bodies were found, so the case became even more mysterious. The fact that the 3 of them could deal with each other when they fought each other was a relief for her, and she did not have to do it herself. Still, everyone was standing up for Feng Xianxia, but she was indifferent when her friends were in trouble. She went to class as usual, but this time her follower seemed to have changed. Although Feng Xianxian was not involved in the matter and there was no direct conflict between her and Feng Xianxian, Mu Qiqi was wary of the girl in a way that she herself could not understand. With the truth revealed and the school meting out a corresponding punishment, the matter seemed to pass peacefully. However, a few days later, the tutor of Mu Qiqi's class informed the students that she was pregnant, and that she was planning to quit her job and go home to nurse the baby. Mu Qiqi found it very sudden and could not help but think about what happened this time. Finding it very strange, Mu Qiqi asked Xianxia when she got home, "Xiao is my tutor." "That's your tutor's own decision. She has a guilty conscience." Xianxia answered Mu Qiqi. "She must have heard something from the principal, so she's afraid." "Have you been to our school?" "No." Xianxia answered without looking up. "Then Suche must have been there. Otherwise, the matter with Nuanyuan's clique wouldn't have been resolved so smoothly." Mu Qiqi figured out the connection. Yeah. Xianxia never hid his love for Mu Qiqi, and there was no need to hide such things from the little one. Still, he had to carefully investigate whether Feng Xianxian was in contact with the Xing family. The next day, the new tutor was already in place, and the 3 girls who had caused trouble for Mu Qiqi had all applied to change faculties, probably because it was too embarrassing. Right now, Mu Qiqi's main focus was on the 5 corpses. Who were those headless corpses? What kind of grudge did the murderer have against them? Most importantly, how perverted was the murderer to kill 5 people and make a family out of them? When class was over, Mu Qiqi rushed out of the school. However, Feng Xianxian stopped her and whispered into her ear, "I'm not done with you about my friend." "How is it going to end?" "You'll find out soon," the man said, brushing past Mu Qiqi. However, Mu Qiqi did not respond to her. Feng Xianxian was a person who strived to be first in everything. She was aloof and proud. She always watched others fight for her while she was too lazy to do anything herself. Compared to that, it was really terrible. There was no need to mention how bad her popularity in school was. If she really went against Feng Xianxian, wouldn't she be screwed to death? After all, she had nothing but Xiao. Soon it would be Gu Xiling and Xing Kai's wedding. Although the Xing family was busy, the two involved never looked at each other in the eye. Whether it was looking for a new house or ordering a dress, they were doing it separately with no intention of being with each other. Third brother could not help sighing when he saw that. What's the point of a couple like you getting together even before marriage? Since 8th brother doesn't want it, it all falls on me. Xing Kai answered his younger brother. You could refuse like 8th brother. And then my house would be burned down. Xing Kai laughed mockingly. It's not that bad. At least, Gu Xiling is beautiful and there's something redeeming about her. Third brother shook his head, feeling upset inside. That was why he wanted to have a drink with Xiao. Second brother, if there's really no way to change things, you could cultivate your liking for Gu Xiling like before. Xing Kai shook his head. Before, he did not know Gu Xiling's heart because he did not know her well. Now that he knew, he could only marry her and keep her as a vase. Or was he supposed to open his heart to Gu Xiling? Knowing that Xing Kai did not want to get married, Gu Xiling came to him a week before the wedding. I know you don't want to be with me either. It's too much to force us to get married. That's why I want to come to an agreement with you. What's the agreement? Either way, your grandfather wants you to marry me so that our families can use each other's background to carry on the family line. After we get married, we should have a child as soon as possible, and when the child is a year old, we would divorce amicably. The child would belong to the Xing family and you could find a new mother for the child. That way you wouldn't have to look at me for the rest of your life. Xing Kai did not say a word as he read the agreement, but it was clear that he was thinking seriously. I don't want an answer now. I'll give you time to think. I'm just afraid you wouldn't be able to get a divorce when the time comes, especially if you have a child. That was Xing Kai's concern. I would have a way to get away when the time comes. To be honest, Gu Xiling's suggestion was wonderful to Xing Kai. After all, he really did not want to face Gu Xiling for the rest of his life, and he believed that Gu Xiling thought the same. That was why he did not think for long before he agreed to Gu Xiling's proposal. 1 year after the child is born. Just 1 year. With that agreement, the couple did not feel that the wedding was that torturous, because both of them had security in their hearts. But Xiao won't come to our wedding, will he? The Xing family is now completely under my control. From now on he will never return to the Xing family, Xingkai replied. Even if he wants to, I won't be soft-hearted. Since you've already agreed to my contract marriage, we should be more like husband and wife in the future and cooperate more tacitly. From tonight onwards, let's move into the same room. This way we can get pregnant faster. Usually a girl would be very secretive or embarrassed to ask a boy out. But Gu Xiling did not hide it at all. There was only one reason. Chapter 4:15. Why would I reject you if you don't mind being a girl? The saddest thing in life was to be forced to live together despite knowing that they would become an unhappy couple. Every cell in Gu Xiling's body would reject the thought of kissing and sleeping with someone she did not like. She was even a little disgusted. But she had hoped that Xianxia could help her. But Xianxia was willing to abandon the Xing family and have nothing to do with her. That was why she was in her current predicament. Wasn't that man hateful? How hateful. That night Xingkai packed his things and moved into Gu Xiling's room. Old Xing was delighted when he learned about it. He was naive enough to believe that he had brought them together. Even so, third brother could tell from his brother's expression that he and Gu Xiling must have discussed it or made a pact. Otherwise, why would Gu Xiling be willing to share a room with second brother when she could not be bothered to look at her brother 2 days ago? It did not make sense. Feeling depressed, third brother drove to Xianxia and Muqiqi. While Papa Xing and Mama Xing were resting, the three of them drank in the garden. I saw second brother moving into Gu Xiling's room tonight. Seems that they are sharing a room. Didn't you say that second brother likes Gu Xiling? Third brother shook his head even as he sipped on his red wine. I could tell that second brother liked Gu Xiling at first, but it was probably only because of her looks. Later, Gu Xiling gradually revealed her arrogance and aloofness, and showed disdain and contempt for second brother. That is why second brother's heart slowly turned cold. Those two are really weird. Muqiqi was silent for a long time after listening to third brother's description. Are you worried for yourself, third brother? She asked after a long time. Both old Xing and second brother have changed a lot in the family. I don't know if it would be my turn in the end. From now on we'll help you keep an eye out for good girls. This way you can at least take the initiative. Little sister-in-law, don't say that. I've already thought about this. In the future, if there are any family banquets, I'll try my best to join them. Wouldn't it be perfect if I met the right woman? With that, third brother chuckled. Second brother's wedding is on the 15th. You won't be at Xing Mansion then. I wonder how the old man will slander your family that day. Whatever, Xianxia answered casually. That's true. You even allowed rumors of being bullied by 3 aristocratic scions to spread, let alone the genuine humiliation from the Xing family. Third brother drank a lot in the yard that night. He was so drunk that he lost consciousness. Xianxia asked Su Che to send him home, and it was Xingkai who came out to pick him up. Xingkai had never seen Su Che before. He only thought that third brother had gone somewhere to get drunk and that Su Che was the bartender there. Of course Su Che wouldn't explain. After completing the mission he immediately returned home. Second brother. Aren't you in the bridal room? Helpless, Xingkai had the butler send him back to his room. Still, when it came to the bridal room, he and Gu Xiling hadn't taken that step yet. After all, there was still a barrier in their hearts. Spring in Jianchuan was still chilly. After Muqiqi finished her bath, she returned to the bed reeking of alcohol and threw herself into Xing Zhao's arms. Seeing that he was not asleep, she said, "Actually, third brother is blaming us a little. Every time he comes he would complain about the Xing family, but I could tell that he still thinks that the change in the old man and second brother is because you left the Xing family. Why should I bear such a burden?" This time Xingxiao lay on the bed. He did not use his hands and feet on Muqiqi like before, nor did he tease her. Instead he asked Muqiqi in return with a low voice, as if they were any other husband and wife, having a casual chat before bed. "Don't you regret leaving the Xing family at all?" "Why should I?" Xingxiao asked. "Are you out of your mind? Would you be willing to let your husband shoulder the responsibility of the Xing family now?" Muqiqi shook her head. "Of course not. You're working so hard at Huangyao and the old man is controlling you in every way possible. The rest of the Xing family thinks that it's only right for you to do so, and I certainly wouldn't let you go back." "Then why are you blabbering?" I'm just. This time Xianxia did not wait for Mu Qiqi to finish. He pinched her chin and said, the only person you have to feel sorry for in this world is me. Don't even think about the other messy things. Strike me first if the heavens strike you. Strike me first if the heavens strike you. I'll be content as long as you stay by my side. At those words, Mu Qiqi abruptly bit Xiangxiao's chin. What heavens strike you? Tui. Don't feel guilty for the choices of others. Fate can be resisted, but it depends on whether you're willing to pay the price. When you talk about teaching, you're really good at it. Xianxia abruptly opened his eyes at that. You don't like me preaching? Then let's do something else. Over the last 2 years, the little one still had kindness in her bones no matter how much she had grown. She would feel insecure over the misfortune of others. That was something he could not teach, just as he did not want to change Mu Qiqi. It was fine if Cheer was kind, but he could be ruthless. Moreover, Cheer's kindness was not blind obedience or Virgin Mary. The next day, since it was the weekend, Mu Qiqi was summoned to the forensics lab early in the morning. It was only when she arrived that she learned that Feng Xianxian had applied to study and observe as well. Hello, Qiqi. Mu Qiqi nodded slightly and quickly changed her clothes at the professor's instruction. Although Feng Xianxian and Mu Qiqi were in the same class, she did not come for her internship during the holidays, which was why she had much less experience than Mu Qiqi. Although her results in theory were better than Mu Qiqi's. Qiqi, now that the police have no direction to investigate, we can only think of a way to see if we can provide some ideas for those young masters who are in a terrible situation. Mu Qiqi stared at the pieces of corpses, troubled as well. Are there no connections between these 5 people? The police have investigated all missing persons, but they couldn't find anything. No one is missing. Then, did they investigate the funeral parlors? The professor was stunned for a moment. You're right. These 5 people don't have any obvious external injuries, but because their internal organs have been dug out, we can't determine the real cause of death. What if someone stole the corpses? Chapter 4:16. When the professor left the lab, Feng Xianxian looked at Mu Qiqi. Qiqi, you've already gotten used to being a forensic doctor. Mu Qiqi propped herself up by the pool and asked Feng Xianxian in return, didn't you say that you would make me pay for what happened to your companions? What's going on now? I didn't expect you to really take my words to heart. Feng Xianxian laughed. Those 3 asked for it. I only threatened you in a moment of anger. At that, Mu Qiqi turned and approached Feng Xianxian. I don't like being two-faced. I also think that it's better if we don't talk to each other lest we disgust each other, don't you think? You're so petty. Mu Qiqi did not reply, but the professor returned to the lab. Seeing the strange atmosphere between the two, he seemed to have noticed something. Those young masters have already started their investigation. I believe there will be results soon. I just hope that there won't be more piles of body parts. Professor, I have another discovery. Go ahead, the professor said to Mu Qiqi as he washed his hands. Why are there only 2 adult males who lost their palms among the 5 corpses? And they lost their left hands. Is it possible that the murderer also lost his left hand, and because he was jealous of the intact bodies of these dead men, he chopped them off to vent his anger? I'll let the police join the investigation. Now let's check the body parts again and see if we can find anything new. Feng Xianxian, come and help. The professor ordered. When Feng Xianxian saw Mu Qiqi calmly walking around the corpses with a magnifying glass, she mustered her courage and went to the piles of corpses. However, no matter how much she did not want to admit defeat, she threw up in front of the pool after taking a look. Turns out that you're really a heroine. The professor could not help but praise Mu Qiqi. It was the first time she saw such a disgusting scene, but she was surprisingly calm. Mu Qiqi smiled and continued to look for clues and answers on the body parts. After vomiting, Feng Xianxian walked to Mu Qiqi's side. But when she opened her eyes and looked at the headless corpse, she turned to the pool again and vomited. If you can't stand it, you can leave first. Feng Xianxian took a moment to compose herself and said, I admit that I'm not as good as you in that regard. But I'll surpass you soon. Mu Qiqi did not have a good impression of Feng Xianxian. She even subconsciously felt that the girl carried some of old Xing's arrogance, and the two were very similar. It seemed that he would have to suffer in the forensics laboratory in the future. In the evening, Xianxia drove to the entrance of the criminal police station, with Xianxia sitting in the back seat. Then he gave Wuxia a call. Wuxia changed and left. Xianxian followed behind her. When she saw her get into Xiao's car, she sneered. The sarcasm in her eyes was very strong. The crown prince was supposed to be the pride of the heavens, but he was so smitten by Wuxia that he did not even want Huang Yao anymore. It was no wonder that old Xing would pay her so much to keep an eye on Wuxia and report back to him. Be that as it may, Wuxia's daily study life was going according to plan, and there was nothing she could use against her. There was no telling why old Xing would keep an eye on Wuxia. When Wuxia got into the car, she realized that they were not heading home, and turned to ask Xianxia, "Where are we going?" "I wanted to pick you up, but I got a call from Secretary He on the way to dinner. So I simply brought you along," Xianxia explained. "I know what kind of person Secretary He is, but is it okay if you bring me along? You're the eldest daughter of the Shen family. What's wrong with that?" Xianxia was completely unconcerned. Moreover, who would have an opinion about his woman? Wuxia nodded and did not think much of it. When the time came, she would just bury herself in her food and try not to interrupt men's matters. Soon the trio arrived at the hotel. Xianxia led Wuxia into the extraordinarily lively private room. Secretary He raised a brow at Xianxia when he saw Wuxia. "That must be my little sister-in-law. Hello." Wuxia quickly greeted him. "Mayor Shen's niece and the old chief's granddaughter. You're really extraordinary." With that, Secretary He raised his glass at Xianxia. "Sister-in-law is still young, so we won't let her drink. You drink in her stead." Xianxia took off his jacket and draped it over the back of Wuxia's chair. Then he put his arm over Wuxia's back, assuming a protective stance. "This little one can drink. I'm not falling for that. I'll be drinking double when the time comes." Xianxia smiled. Wuxia glanced at the people there. There were around 11 of them, including herself and Xianxia, and each of them had an imposing appearance. Even the middle-aged men among them did not appear greasy. Such was Xiao's social circle. As for Secretary He, although he liked to joke, he was a man of action and courage. Such a ruthless man. You should be replaced. Wuxia lowered her head to eat, smiling along with them. She knew that those people were talking about cooperation and she did not understand or need to be involved. Still, she felt that it was worth it to watch Xianxia argue with the crowd. It was no wonder he never lost a contract negotiation. What was rarer was that these people were not unscrupulous at all when they interacted with each other. They were very respectful of women, and never joked about them from the beginning of the meal to the end of the drinks. That was what Wuxia was most satisfied with. After that, people started to leave the banquet one after another. There were only 3 or 4 people left, and they continued to drink. There aren't many true feelings in this world. Cherish them when you meet them and don't separate no matter what happens. Take me and sister-in-law for example. We wanted to divorce more than 100 times in the first year of our marriage, but we would feel upset every time we reached the Civil Affairs Bureau. It hurts to think of the wife you love and dote on suddenly becoming someone else's. That's why I made a pact with sister-in-law that if anyone mentions divorce again, they would have to do housework for the rest of their lives. Wuxia hugged Xianxia's arm, listening intently. We're all hot-blooded soldiers. It's our duty to protect our country. Are we still men if we can't even protect our wives? If there's a chance in the future, I'll let you meet my wife and son. My son is so beautiful. Chapter 417. No, I have to go home. I'm going to get scolded again if my son smells alcohol on me. With those words, Secretary He propped himself up and told Xianxia, "The people you came to meet tonight are all noble gentlemen, I know." Secretary He clapped his hand on Xianxia's shoulder, his expression meaningful. "Let's go." Xianxia nodded and saw Secretary He out of the private room with Wuxia. When all the guests had left, Wuxia could not help but sigh. "I've only seen a few of them on TV. I've finally seen them for myself, how admirable they are." Wuxia sighed. Xianxia smiled and was about to bring Wuxia home. However, when they reached the front desk to pay the bill, they ran into Xing Kai, who was also hosting a banquet with Gu Xiling. Both of them were treating their business partners to a meal for their wedding. It was the first time they met outside of Xing Zhao's house since he left Huangyao. Compared to his flamboyant self before, Xing Xiao was much more composed now. Sheng Kai assumed that he was forced to keep his fierceness because of financial constraints, but how could he know who Xing Xiao was meeting just now? Xing Xiao did not spare them a glance and merely took out his gold card to the front desk. "Bill, please. Let me do it." Sheng Kai pushed Xing Zhao's gold card back. "You don't have an income now that you're leaving the Xing family, and it's best not to come to such high-class hotels again. I'll pay for this meal." Mu Qiqi felt that Sheng Kai had misunderstood something at that. Xing Xiao, however, nodded. "You're the CEO of Huangyao now. That's not a problem. Isn't that the path you chose?" Sheng Kai told Xing Xiao even as he paid the bill. "Also, you better not let the old man see you. You know how much he hates you now." That was when the receptionist told them, "I'm sorry, but this bill has already been paid for." It was Secretary He who had sent his assistant to handle it before he left. That was why Xing Kai did not get the chance to earn some face in front of Xing Xiao. "Leave it for next time since you like paying for me so much." With that, he winked at Mu Qiqi. "Scope." Mu Qiqi held back her laughter. She could not say it out loud, so she nodded. "Goodbye. Old 8, it's rare for us to meet outside. How about another drink?" "Forget it. I'm so poor. I won't embarrass you as the CEO of Huangyao." With that, the two of them left. On the other hand, Gu Xiling stood beside Xing Kai and looked at him from the beginning to the end. Sure enough, after losing the halo of being the crown prince, he was just a profiteer who was greedy for money even for a meal. With such a comparison, it seemed that Xing Kai was slightly better now. And did Xing Kai really want to help Xing Xiao? All he wanted was to humiliate and mock Xing Xiao with the cost of a meal. Look at how glorious he was in the past, but what about now? He actually wagged his tail and begged for mercy for the sake of a meal. But only Mu Qiqi knew how much she wanted to laugh out loud. Her man's potential for black-bellied was really unlimited. Since someone was willing to pay for him, he was more than happy to do so. "What a shame, Secretary, he has already given it to me," Xing Xiao said regretfully. "You don't know. I almost couldn't hold it in." Mu Qiqi was still laughing even after getting into the car. "But it's enough to prove what kind of change second brother has changed, third brother. Because he didn't want to pay for us at all. He just wanted to humiliate you with the cost of a meal. All the good feelings I had for him are gone now. What does it matter?" The two of them pretended that it was a joke and returned home in a good mood. As for Xing Kai, when he returned home, he told third brother about his encounter with Xing Xiao at the hotel. "I think eighth brother won't be able to splurge for much longer. I almost couldn't recognize him when I saw him at the hotel today. The once glorious crown prince is like that now. That's why I wanted to pay for him." "Are you saying that you wanted to pay for eighth brother when you met him at the hotel today?" Third brother looked as if he was watching a show. "Yes, he didn't refuse." "Nonsense. Xing Xiao was such a smart man. Wouldn't 100 billion be too much when he owned Zhongting? It would be weird if he didn't want someone giving him money." "Third brother, I'm really emotional. Perhaps the Xing family had put him on too high a pedestal before and treated him as a god. But tonight he, wagging his tail and begging for mercy, right?" No, third brother was about to suffer an internal injury. Only the Xing family would think that giving Xing Xiao out of charity was a form of revenge. How happy would he be if someone paid for him? "Yeah, I won't treat eighth brother as an opponent from now on, because I don't think he deserves it anymore." "All right, second brother. I know. I'm tired after a long day of work. I'm going back to my room to rest." Most of all, third brother felt that he would lose control and laugh out loud if he kept listening. "Go." Xing Kai simply assumed that third brother was protecting Xing Xiao. That was why he couldn't listen to his nagging. Moreover, he wasn't the only one who thought that Xing Xiao's legend was over. Even Gu Xiling was extremely disappointed in Xing Xiao. Where was the domineering Xing Xiao at old Sheng's birthday banquet now? As expected, once a man lost power and influence, he would appear plain and ordinary. That way she felt a little better about marrying Xing Kai. Of course, the old man had to know about that. Especially at the dining table the next morning, the old man's mood was indescribably bright. After all, he had heard that Xing Kai had humiliated Xing Xiao. Third brother couldn't help burying his head in his food. Could stupidity really be contagious? Your wedding is in a few days. Second brother, you should go to the Su family and invite fourth sister and Jing Yun to the wedding. You should also discuss their marriage in passing. Got it, grandfather. Sheng Kai replied. Meanwhile, Jing Yun had been busy filling the hole that Su Yihong and his son had left in Su Holdings. That was why he didn't pay much attention to Xing Xiao, and could only listen to Xing Minglan talk about it when he returned home every day. That night, Sheng Kai brought along Gu Xiling for a visit to the Su family with a gift and an invitation. Still, he appeared awkward because Jing Yun had once been close to the Xing family. I hope you won't hold a grudge no matter what I've done before. After all, you're my brother-in-law now. Chapter 418. It would be best if you could let bygones be bygones. I'm just afraid that you would refuse to interact with us because of eighth brother. I don't think so. Jing Yun replied. Grandfather even said that he would discuss your marriage when the time comes. There was awkwardness in the Su family's living room for the entire night. Jing Yun had no intention of reminiscing with Xing Kai, and Xing Minglan did not like Gu Xiling either, which was why she did not say a word. In the end, it was the two elders of the Su family who dispelled the awkwardness, finding an excuse for Jing Yun and Xing Minglan to leave. Eighth brother is no longer with the Xing family, and second brother has become the CEO. But I have the feeling that the Xing family is different now. Grandfather even had people burn down Jing Ting. Jing Yun turned to look at Xing Minglan's dejected expression and hugged her. When the Su family is back on track, let's travel abroad and get married. Really? But Mom and Dad only want us to be happy and don't want to have too much to do with the Xing family. The only regret I have is that we can't give you a grand wedding, but we could find a small church abroad and have a wedding just for the two of us. Jing Yun's expression was serious, which reassured Xing Minglan. Since Su Holdings is stable now, we should think of a way to help eighth brother. At that, Jing Yun put a hand on Xing Minglan's shoulder and explained seriously, Listen to me, Minglan. I've been with him for over a decade and Mu Chichi probably doesn't know him as well as I do. He doesn't need anyone's help and don't believe the rumors out there. You can't imagine what the young master can do and what he can do. That's why we have to take care of ourselves. That would be the greatest help to him. Is that really so? Trust me. That must be it. Xing Minglan trusted him, which was why she nodded, feeling reassured. I'm just afraid that he would make a big fuss again. Now all of Jianchuan is mocking him. Just think about how a proud person like him would endure such humiliation. Based on my understanding of him, he must be hiding at home watching the show. That was why even Mu Chichi had to admit defeat. After all, Jing Yun had been by Xing Zhao's side for so many years, and no one in this world could match his understanding of Xing Xiao. Then, do you want to attend my second brother's wedding? If you think you... Of course I'm going. As the representative of the Su family, it was unreasonable for him not to go. Of course, the most important reason was that he felt that he would be able to watch a wonderful show at the wedding banquet. The circle of nobles had always been this realistic. Come to think of it, Xianxia felt that she should spend more time to talk to Mu Chichi. There were so many rumors about Xing Xiao and Jianchuan, and Mu Chichi was definitely in a bad mood. So Xianxia got in touch with successor training early and planned to drive to the Shen family. However, as soon as he walked out of the gate of Lu Enterprises, he saw Lin Mu, and leaning against the stone pillar at the entrance. Xianxia's heart immediately soared. Why are you here? Isn't school starting? I'm on vacation, so I came out to see you, Lin Mu, and replied. I was going to see Mu Chichi. Then I came at the wrong time. Lin Mu, and said in disdain even as he opened Xianxia's car door. Xianxia smiled and only said when she saw that he had settled in. Say, why didn't your school train your body to be smarter? Stop fooling around. Let's find a place to park. I only have 10 minutes before I return to the team. Lin Muan explained. Just 10 minutes. Can't you go back to school earlier? How could I not worry if I don't see your ugly face? Lin Mu and pinched Xianxia's cheek. I'm relieved now that I see you. Still, little Pepper, you've put on quite a bit of weight after not seeing you for some time. Get lost. Xianxia was furious. At the same time, she felt sorry for him. If you lack anything in school, just tell me. I'm your best friend after all. I can still help you with such a small matter. I'm leaving. Lin Mu, and took out a childish clay figurine from his pocket and put it in Lu Qianqian's hand. Then he jumped out of the car and soon disappeared before Lu Qianqian's eyes. Lu Qianqian could only smile helplessly at the clay figurine. He made you so ugly. But what she did not know was how much effort Lin Mu and had spent to come out of the police academy to see her. Just because he had dreamt that old Lin was going to attack the Lu family. He was really worried, and that was why he ran out with all his might. But after one look at the little pepper, he ran back foolishly. The little pepper had unwittingly become his Achilles heel. In fact, was Lin Mu, and not a concern for Lu Qianqian as well? It was as if he was a family member. Although she lived a busy life every day, Lu Qianqian still missed that bastard who would go against her every time they met. She was worried that old Lin would trouble him, worried that he would not have enough to eat or wear because of his pride, afraid that he would be bullied outside and have no one to back him up. I wonder when that bastard would grow up. And because of Lin Mu An's delay, Lu Qianqian was no longer in the mood to see Mu Qiqi. Soon the wedding between the Xing and Gu families was held grandly in Jianchuan. The marriage between the two families was naturally a grand affair with a hall full of guests. After the storm of Xing Zhao's departure from Huangyao, the Xing family welcomed their guests with a grand ceremony once again. And this time the old man's hopes would not be disappointed. After all, Xing Kai was different from Xing Xiao. The venue for the wedding was very luxurious. Thousands of champagne roses decorated the wedding venue into a sacred manner. It was said that hundreds of millions of dollars were spent on the wedding. Gu Ziling's bridal gown alone was embedded with over 500 diamonds, and was worth over 10 million. Such a scene was rare in Jianchuan. It was clear how much importance old Xing placed on the wedding. In just a little over a month he had created such a grand wedding. The Gu family was very pleased. Their daughter's grand wedding gave them great pride. Moreover, her son-in-law was handsome and capable. Thinking about it this way, not choosing Xing Xiao in the first place was the right decision. Of course, the guests were gossipy, and some of them were even talking about Xing Xiao recently. Chapter 419. That's right. You all must have heard about the news of the crown prince being humiliated endlessly. I wonder if he would come to the wedding today. He probably won't. After all, he's the one making a fuss about leaving the Xing family. It was inevitable that the guests would mention Xing Zhao's name, and the old man's face naturally darkened at that. There's no such person in the Xing family. I hope that you would respect the host today and not talk about this irrelevant person at my grandson's wedding. Not at all. We're just saying that your second grandson is a talented young man. That's right. Huang Yao doesn't really need anyone. With Chairman Sheng's wise leadership, someone else could lead Huang Yao to glory all the same. Naturally, such polite words were better listened to. However, Xing Kai still felt good when he heard that. The old man did not have to be so calculative. Instead of saying that he was refusing to talk about Xing Xiao, it would be more accurate to say that he could stomp Xing Xiao into the mud. Jing Yun and Xing Minglan only arrived at the hotel when the wedding ceremony was about to begin. Though the old man was embarrassed, he had to greet them. Jing Yun, fourth sister, grandfather. Xing Minglan greeted the old man a little awkwardly. You two should get ready after second brother's wedding. Do you like such a wedding? I'll prepare a grander one for you then. No need. Su Holdings is very busy these days, and Jing Yun and I could just travel and get married. Xing Minglan refused. The old man did not say much when he saw that the two were not appreciative. He was just being polite anyway, because he knew very well that he would not get on Jing Yun's good side even if he wanted to announce his relationship with the Su family. That being the case, he was actually relieved that they did not have a wedding. Let's go in. The wedding ceremony is about to begin. Jing Yun led Xing Minglan inside when some of the guests were pointing at him. He used to be the crown prince's assistant, but he's now the third young master of the Su family. Xing Xiao is already in such a state, but he's not going to help him. How heartless. You don't know, but Jing Yun is already married to fourth sister of the Xing family. Since he's the Xing family's son-in-law, he should have some scruples. Jing Yun said nothing, but Xing Minglan turned to glare at the gossipy women. Soon the wedding ceremony officially began. All the guests held their breaths as they watched Gu Ziling walk down the red carpet in her wedding gown, which was worth tens of millions. The two of them looked so affectionate. Because Gu Xiling suddenly realized that Sheng Kai was the strongest man in the Sheng family right now. As for Xiao, he could go to hell. That was why she was willing to marry Sheng Kai today. It was a complete change from her initial reluctance to be with a man who loved her. Perhaps when the time of the contract was up, she would be the one unwilling to be the one to leave. After the ceremony, old Sheng was invited to the stage to say a few words of blessing for the newlyweds. And the first thing he said was that he had been blind. I was blind in the past. I didn't notice such a good grandson. I raised an ingrate for more than 20 years and almost picked the wrong couple. Here I want to apologize to my grandson and granddaughter-in-law. From now on, I only hope that the two of you could work hand in hand and tide over the difficulties together, and have a few more children so that I could enjoy the joy of playing with grandchildren. Of course, if anyone dares to provoke my grandson or bully my granddaughter-in-law, these old bones of mine would be the first to fight them to the death. I have to say that second brother is the greatest contributor to the Sheng family and the hope of Huang Yao's future. I have placed all my hopes on the newlyweds. The old man's words had basically wiped away all of Xing Zhao's contributions to Huang Yao. He really knew how to be a heartless grandfather. Jingyan, let's go. Xing Minglan could not help roaring inwardly at that. Tired? Yes. Then I'll take you to greet the newlyweds. With that, Jing Yun led Xing Minglan to Xing Kai and Gu Xiling. The ceremony was over, and the newlyweds were ready to change into their attire for a toast. Second brother, second sister-in-law Minglan and I are going back now. There are still many things waiting for us at Su Holdings. You should at least have a meal before you leave. No need. Jing Yun said stubbornly and was about to leave with Xing Minglan. But before they left, Xing Minglan told Xing Kai, no matter how much you want to deny eighth brother's existence or tarnish his reputation, you have to admit that it was Xing Xiao who had developed Huang Yao to where it is now over the last 10 years. You could lie to your guests but not to yourselves. I wish you all the best, second brother. Xing Kai's face promptly fell, but he could do nothing about Xing Minglan. Of course, Xing Minglan only said those words out of frustration. She didn't care where she was right now. The old man had humiliated, tarnished, burned down houses and slaughtered without a shred of conscience. And the rest of the Xing family, on the other hand, were riding on the tree planted by their predecessors to humiliate them. Wasn't that ironic? Are you that angry? Jing Yun couldn't help smirking at Xing Minglan's fuming look. No one would get justice for eighth brother if I don't say a word. Xing Minglan snorted. Well, it's still early. Let's go find young master for lunch. Okay. Xing Minglan nodded. Soon Jing Yun called Xing Xiao to confirm where he was. Knowing where they came from, Xing Xiao gave Jing Yun an address. Xing Minglan soon realized that it wasn't the way to the Shin's residence and asked Jing Yun, aren't we going to find eighth brother? Young master gave me the address. He's there now. Xing Minglan nodded and didn't ask anything else. It was only when they arrived at the front desk of Zhongting that they met the receptionist. Excuse me. Are you Mr. Jing and Miss Sheng? Xing Minglan nodded in confusion. The receptionist promptly sent them to the CEO's personal elevator and sent them directly to Xing Zhao's office. Chief Xing, your guests are here. Come in. Xing Zhao's voice could be heard from the office. Chapter 420. Xing Minglan. Xing Minglan was utterly confused. What's going on? New company. Can't you tell? Wait, when did you start your own company? Is that the point? Xing Xiao rose from his chair and walked up to them, lifting a brow. Meanwhile, Xing Minglan was beside herself with excitement after walking a lap around Xing Zhao's office. So, who are you trying to fool when you were humiliated and trampled on by those three young masters? That's not entirely true. That night, those three people were indeed trying to humiliate me. Xing Minglan's gloominess was suddenly swept away, and she stared at Xing Xiao in disbelief. You're really unexpected. As expected, Jing Yun is the one who understands you the most in this world. After all, he didn't follow me all these years for nothing. Xing Xiao replied. Now everyone in Jianchuan is laughing at you for being a failure and how useless you are now. And yet you quietly became the ruler of this place? That's not like you, who would seek vengeance. One must learn to keep a low profile. Whatever the case may be, Xing Minglan was really pleased. Her younger brother was really invincible. It seems that I really don't have to worry or be afraid of you from now on. Did you know that I even reprimanded second brother at the wedding for you? And I was worried for nothing, wasn't I? That's why I've asked you to come. Xing Minglan really forgot about her anger at that moment, and simply found the whole thing interesting. When do you plan to reveal your identity? There's no rush. Someone would come to fawn over me soon. Xing Minglan laughed at that. Xianxia, you weren't that cunning before. Did you learn that from Muqiqi? The trio had lunch at Zhongting's cafeteria with Xing Minglan exclaiming, "You're really a sly old fox. It's such a good deal to have eldest uncle be your industrial designer for free." That said, I rarely see eldest uncle so focused on one thing. It was also because they had seen Papa Xing working in his workshop that they could not help but sigh in awe. It's fine as long as you know this. No matter what kind of rumors are spreading about me in the outside world, you can pretend not to hear them. I didn't know you were so capable before. Xing Minglan glared at him. Now that we know that you're a big shot, Jing Yun and I will only think that those rumors are funny. We won't really take it to heart. She used to think that Xing Minglan was pitiful when Xing Xiao became like the rumors. But now she was relieved. The two stayed in Zhongting until the day before Xing Xiao's meeting. On the other hand, Xing Minglan only understood half of the conversation between Jing Yun and Xing Xiao. That was why on the way home from Zhongting, Xing Minglan couldn't help asking, "I don't really understand the jargon you were using just now. Could you tell me in a nutshell what it means?" In short, young master is more powerful than before. Anyone in his circle could cause an earthquake in Jianchuan. Xing Minglan nodded. That's right. No wonder he looks down on Huang Yao so much. When the Xing family was humiliating Xing Xiao in all sorts of ways, he was walking to a height no one else could reach. I'm really worried that the old man would have a heart attack when this matter is exposed. That's none of our business. It was a significant day for the Xing family, both for Huang Yao and for Xing Kai. At night, after the wedding, he carried Gu Xiling back to the bridal chamber and asked her, "Are you ready?" Thinking about it now, Gu Xiling did not seem to dislike Xing Kai as much and so nodded. "Since you plan to have a child as soon as possible, we won't use contraceptives." Hearing this, Gu Xiling nodded her head again. Perhaps it was the effect of alcohol, or perhaps it was because they were dressed up, but they did not dislike each other as much at that moment. So, it was only after they entered the bridal chamber that Xing Kai realized that although Gu Xiling was living with her ex-boyfriend, she was still a virgin. Such a discovery was simply a pleasant surprise for him. That was why he could not help having sex with Gu Xiling again and again. Both of them hoped that they could have a child soon. But was it really that easy to have a child? Meanwhile, Xing Xiao was cleaning the strange smell on Muqiqi's body and listening to her talk about the case of the 5 corpses. Do you know why the 5 corpses were gutted from the side? Why? Xing Xiao asked cooperatively. Because the murderer used to be a fish merchant. A customer complained that he didn't clean the fish's organs properly, so he got into an argument with the customer. The customer yelled at him to kill him if he had the ability. Then the murderer stole these corpses to practice his skills before he took revenge on the customer. He's a real pervert. When the police found him, the internal organs of those people were still hanging in his house. He probably wanted to dry them and make them into a specimen. And the strangest thing is that I always thought that he was jealous of the others because he lost his left hand. But when the police caught him, they found that he had 7 fingers on his left hand. Perhaps he could not stand the strange looks of others and gradually became twisted. His family also left him one by one, so he stole the corpses and forcibly became a family. So you've done a good deed. Muqiqi smiled and suddenly remembered that Xing Minglan had called her in the afternoon. Did you let 4th sister and Jing Yun go to Zhongting? 4th sister went to the wedding today and scolded 2nd brother. That's why I couldn't keep hiding it from her, so I told her the secret so that she could be happy. You should have done that earlier. It's a pity I wasn't there, or I could see 4th sister's excited face. Muqiqi expressed her regret. After washing her hair, Xing Xiao wiped her hair with a towel. But slowly his hand began to move downwards. Muqiqi promptly laughed. Stop it. Let me dry my hair first or I'll catch a cold. I'll spare you for now. Xing Xiao did not want his little one to suffer, and so temporarily suppressed his desire. Meanwhile, Muchichi was puzzled. How could this man still have the mood to do that after hearing about the body parts and organs? Xiao, your mental fortitude is better than Feng Xianxian's. This person has dealings with the Xing family. Keep your guard up. Xiao said seriously as he carried Muchichi out of the bathtub. Of course I'll be on guard. Actually, I would be careful even if you didn't tell me. You should know that your little wife is very vengeful. Her eyes were always on Feng Xianxian. Chapter 421. Time flew. Soon half a year had passed. With the cooperation of Xing Kai and Gu Xiling, Huang Yao had taken another step forward and became a famous diamond empire in Asia. Old Xing was very satisfied with the expansion of their territory. With such results, Old Xing was finally no longer conflicted over whether it was Xing Kai or Xing Xiao who was sitting in that seat. Even so, he still hated Xing Xiao intensely because he believed that Xing Xiao was a stain on his life. Still, no matter how much he hated Xing Xiao had been hiding in the Xin family over the last 6 months as an idle son-in-law, with rumors of him getting into fights with the young masters of other families from time to time. It was as if Muchichi had bewitched the man, turning him from a promising crown prince into a pile of mud that could not be helped up. Meanwhile, Feng Xianxian continued to monitor Muchichi for Old Xing. However, Muchichi's daily life was divided between school, home and the forensics lab. She rarely had time to visit Lu Qianqian or Xing Minglan. Muchichi's life was not even as rich as an ordinary person's. At the very least, she could still dance and sing with her classmates or go to the bar late at night. That was why she really did not think that Muchichi was worth monitoring. He was plain and boring. However, in a place where she and the Xing family could not see, in just half a year, Zhongting had become famous in the country. After all, Zhongting was not only producing military supplies, but Xing Xiao had also re-established a research department and built a huge base to carry out the development of new weapons, with close ties to the military. It was this soaring group that attracted the attention of many people. However, no one knew who the person in charge of Zhongting was. In the last 6 months, Muchichi had visited the base he was so proud of with Xing Xiao many times, accompanied him on expeditions around the world and befriended many important people. Recently, the two of them had gone to Norway to see the laser. But only the Xin family knew about this. Xin Jianchuan could walk normally now, and Su Zipei's little darling was born. Still, they had kept a low profile in order to play along with Xing Zhao's act. The Xing family had naturally become even more arrogant now that they had risen to another level. On the other hand, Gu Xiling had clearly signed an agreement with Xing Kai that she would divorce him after having a child and start a new family. Even so, after spending half a year with Xing Kai, she realized that she had fallen for him. However, after half a year of hard work, there was still no movement in her stomach. Because of this, she secretly went for a checkup. However, the doctor said that she was fine and suspected that there might be something wrong with the man. But how could she mention this to Xing Kai? It would be strange if Xing Kai didn't lose his temper. At night, when Xing Kai returned home and saw that Grandpa Xing was still meeting Feng Xianxian, he knew that Grandpa Xing's problem had not been resolved. I really don't know why Grandpa is still dissatisfied with Huang Yao's development to the point that he still wants Feng Xianxian to monitor Muchichi. While helping Xing Kai take off his coat, Gu Xiling said to her husband, Grandpa thinks that Xing Xiao is a stain on his life. He has been wanting to take revenge for the past 6 months. He knows how useless Xing Xiao has been. Forget it, let him be. Let's go downstairs and eat. Gu Xiling nodded and kept the results of the checkup in her makeup box. She thought that she might have been too nervous and wouldn't get pregnant this way, so she might as well try for a while longer. The whole family was having a meal in the spacious dining hall when Grandpa Xing gave Xing Kai a mission. Go and find out more about Zhongting. Find out who's in charge of Zhongting. See if this family has any daughters of the right age. If there are, I think our third brother has found a place to settle down. Third brother spat out a mouthful of rice at that. Grandpa, I'm already working hard to find one myself. Don't rush me. How do you know you're not satisfied with Zhongting's daughter if she's not pretty? Third brother chuckled sheepishly. As expected, the old man had finally set his sights on Zhongting. He had expected it. After all, who wouldn't know that Zhongting was now in Jianchuan? Still, he was certain that eighth brother's family had no daughters. Got it, Grandpa. I'll see to it as soon as I can. Xingkai replied, even teasing third brother. You're the only one in the family who hasn't settled down yet. Even sixth brother is getting married. Shouldn't you work hard? Third brother thought to himself, you guys better not see to it or the family won't have peace soon. The old man chuckled as well before turning to Xingkai. By the way, get that piece of land east of the city as soon as possible. The expansion of Huang Yao's production base is imminent. I know, Grandpa. I'll see to it as soon as I can. Still, I heard that Zhongting has their eyes on that piece of land too. You could use the chance to get to know the person in charge. Zhongting had their eyes on that piece of land, but Xianxia might not be the one to bid for it. When third brother heard about it, he quietly called Xianxia before he went to bed. You've successfully caught the old man's attention. He sent second brother to check you out. He wants to know who's in charge of Zhongting, and if there's a girl of suitable age for me to be his son-in-law. Zhongting has many beautiful female employees. Xianxia replied. Eighth brother, you've got guts. You're sneaking glances at female employees behind sister-in-law's back. Do you think I'm you? Xianxia was about to hang up. I got it. You're almost done hiding, aren't you? Xianxia simply felt that life had been wonderful without the old man's interference for the past 6 months. Of course, he did not have to fear the old man's interference with his current position. After all, he could do anything to Huang Yao with just a few words. There were too many things that could trouble Huang Yao. Mu Qiqi came out of the bathroom after her shower to find Xianxia sitting on the sofa with his black shirt unbuttoned. She sat down with her wet hair and dripped water on Xiao's documents. Dry my hair. Xiao put down the documents and pulled his little one into his arms. After half a year, the little one's figure had become even more alluring. Especially with fifth aunt giving her food supplements, her entire face now looked rosy, lustrous, and plump. I heard it when I was showering. What did third brother tell you? Xiao chuckled softly at third brother's words. Chapter 422. The Xing family wants to know if we have an unmarried daughter of suitable age, so that they can marry third brother to us. Heh. Mu Qiqi glared at Xiao in disdain. Wouldn't the Xing family always try to curry favor with any major family? Isn't the Su family and the Gu family enough? The problem is my daughter is already taken. Wait, where would we get a daughter? Mu Qiqi was puzzled. Xiao straightened Mu Qiqi's body and took out the hairdryer from the bathroom before answering her unhurriedly. Who else would I spoil other than you? Blah. Mu Qiqi hugged Xiao's arm and bit the back of his hand. You're the respected Xiao now, and the Xing family is coming to fawn over you. But Xiao, I think our life is good now and I don't want to have too much to do with the Xing family. That's right. There are plenty of people who want to fawn over me. What's the Xing family? Second brother wanted to investigate him? Wasn't that just asking to be humiliated? Mu Qiqi enjoyed the process of Xiao drying her hair, and soon fell asleep on his body. Xiao was used to it and simply put down the hairdryer and changed his posture to hug Mu Qiqi before picking up the documents again, completely unconcerned that Mu Qiqi had wet a corner of the important document. Hence, the two of them became increasingly lovey-dovey. If it had been a year or two ago, Mama Xing would never have believed that the person who doted on Mu Qiqi so much was her son. Now that Papa Xing was in Zhongting and holding an important position, he had achieved something and regained his former confidence. He had to thank his son and Xiaoqi for all that, which was why he did his best to fulfill his promise to his family. Whenever he saw something good, he would buy it for his wife. Of course, he would also buy it for his daughter-in-law. At breakfast the next day, Xiao told his parents about third brother's phone call yesterday. Mama Xing snorted coldly, folding her arms. I'm still fuming over Jingting's fire. Moreover, the Xing family has been belittling my son on various occasions over the last 6 months, and now they want to fawn over me? Isn't that just wishful thinking? How ironic when you think about it. Xiao did not say anything and simply watched her eat her breakfast. When Mama Xing saw that Xiao was not moving, she asked, when do you plan to reveal your identity? At the right time at the right place. Mama Xing rolled her eyes. Whatever. Anyway, the Xing family shouldn't even think about stepping over us now. I'm going to get my hair done with Huang Yu. You can go back to work. Mama Sheng often visited the Shin family ever since the two elders moved into the villa. Her relationship with Huang Yu was becoming more and more like a sister. Although she was a whole generation older than Huang Yu, she had already left the Sheng family, who cared about seniority. As long as he was happy. After listening to Mama Sheng's description, Huang Yu's eyes widened. The Sheng family is so shameless. They fawn over whoever is powerful. This isn't something that happened in a day or two. Mu Qiqi did not care about Zhongting's affairs and focused on her research as a forensic doctor. Because of this, Feng Xianxian felt that she had no energy at all. And because she had to keep an eye on her, she could only stay in the forensics lab to look at those disgusting corpses on weekends when she was supposed to go on a date with her boyfriend. Don't you go on a date? Why? Xianxia might be broke, but doesn't the Shin family still have power and influence? Mu Qiqi answered Feng Xianxian as she cleaned the corpse's wounds. It's been half a year. Did you get anything from keeping an eye on me? Who's keeping an eye on you? You can't wait to go to the washroom with me. Isn't that keeping an eye on me? Mu Qiqi retorted. The Sheng family asked you to keep an eye on me, and then what? What kind of seasoning can I have for the old man's meal? Feng Xianxian looked at Mu Qiqi in shock. It turned out that the quiet person she liked actually knew everything. By the way, Feng Xianxian, if you keep following me like this, your boyfriend would be gone. He would probably think that you're trying to get gay, wouldn't he? Feng Xianxian was indeed a little tired after hearing that. But it was fortunate that he was her boyfriend of many years, and he was willing to listen as long as she explained. It's not that I don't want to say it, but you're not in this circle. You might not be able to satisfy the loneliness of a rich man, but there are plenty of people who can. Do you believe that? Mu Qiqi, don't think that everyone is as disgusting as you, seducing your benefactor and turning the crown prince into a good-for-nothing. Mu Qiqi said nothing and simply turned to give Feng Xianxian a mocking look. After a while she spoke again. I'll be in the lab all day today. You should go on a date or you'll hold a grudge against me when your boyfriend is gone. That's none of my business. Xianxia is already like this. Haven't you thought of changing him? You're only 19. I know that all of you want to see Xiao lose everything and be chased out of the Shin family. But he's my man and I'll always be by his side even if he has nothing. You don't have to worry about changing him. Feng Xianxian gave Mu Qiqi a weird look. Then she really took her bag and left the forensics lab. She couldn't give up her love for old Sheng's money. But when she called her boyfriend, he told her that he was on a business trip. Helpless, Feng Xianxian returned to the lab. Would you believe that your boyfriend is with a beautiful woman right now? Shut up, Mu Qiqi. My boyfriend loves me very much. Was it love that she didn't even tell him when he was on a business trip? She really couldn't understand such love. At the very least, she knew exactly where Xianxia was when she was with him. If two people loved each other enough, they wouldn't think that it was a restraint, and would even let each other know where they were. Of course, Feng Xianxian had her suspicions, or she wouldn't have flown into a rage out of humiliation. However, the feeling of being exposed by one's enemy was another matter altogether. At night at the Xing residence. Before Xing Kai returned home, old Xing called Gu Xiling into his study and asked her when she was going to have a child. Grandfather, Xing Kai and I have been preparing for a baby, but nothing happened in the last 6 months. Gu Xiling told the old man honestly. Well, did you go for a checkup? I did. The doctor told me that there's no problem, but I didn't dare to mention it to Xing Kai. Chapter 423. Is that so? Old Xing looked at the walking stick in his hand and told Gu Xiling, maybe it's not the right time yet. Just wait a little longer. After all, who would want to admit that their grandson had a problem in that area? Although Gu Xiling thought so too, there was still a knot in her heart. After being married to Xing Kai for half a year, they had been so close to each other that she almost got carried away. I know, grandfather. But if she still could not get pregnant, she still had to think of a way to get Xing Kai to the hospital for a checkup. A few days later at the land auction, everyone was discussing that they would be able to see someone from Zhongting today. Xing Kai was naturally looking forward to it from his seat. Moments later, Su Che and another deputy CEO of Zhongting entered the main hall of the auction. At that moment, many people in charge deliberately turned to look at the person in charge of Zhongting. After all, the company was too mysterious. Su Che's baby face looked very young, which shocked everyone present. To be able to strengthen Zhongting to such a terrifying extent in such a short period of time, could it be this young man? No one knew the answer. And among them Xing Kai was the most puzzled. As he remembered Su Che. He had thought that Su Che was a bartender when he sent third brother home, but he turned out to be someone from Zhongting. Could third brother know someone from Zhongting? Soon the bidding began. The piece of land in the east of the city was priced at 1.3 billion. Many of the big shots present also scrambled to raise their cards. However, most of them raised their bids in the millions. Even when it came to Huang Yao and Xinkai's land, he only raised it by 100 million. But when it came to Zhongting's bidding, Su Che raised 2.6 billion. Everyone was shocked. Many big shots also felt that the land was still desolate and not worth such a high price, so they all gave up. However, Xing Kai continued to follow up because Huang Yao was determined to get that land. 3 billion. 4 billion. 5 billion. Xing Kai continued to bid. 6 billion. Su Che's cool voice rang in the hall. 5 billion. This time Su Che did not follow up. 5 billion going once. 5 billion going twice. With that final blow, Huang Yao successfully acquired that piece of land. However, he still felt that Su Che was deliberately inflating the price of the land. Everyone thought that Xing Kai was crazy. The land that was originally worth 1.3 billion yuan had been forcibly raised to the current sky-high price. At the same time, they were also curious about Zhongting's net worth. How could they so easily bid a land price of 6 billion yuan? After the auction ended, everyone left. At this time Xing Kai walked up to Su Che and asked, "We met last time. You sent third brother home." "Really? But I don't know your third son." "I just met him at the bar and gave him a ride," Su Che replied. "Are you really the person in charge of Zhongting? My family doesn't have any daughters or sons of marriageable age. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you, Chief Sheng." Su Che hit the nail on the head and walked around Xing Kai to leave the venue. But Xing Kai was stunned. How could Su Che be so clear about the Xing family's intentions? Zhongting was truly mysterious. Having completed his mission, Su Che returned to Zhongting to report. Xianxia was delighted to learn that Huang Yao had spent 5 billion yuan. They've really expanded their business in Asia. Now they're showing off their wealth. 5 billion shouldn't be much for Huang Yao, Yi Futian said. 5 billion is certainly nothing, but it's not worth it for that piece of land. Now I've settled the score with the Xing family for burning down Jingting. Su Che was puzzled at that. Didn't Miss Chi-Chi already seek justice half a year ago? That little one had caused Huang Yao's shares to fall and its market value to evaporate. In truth, it was just a virtual economy because the money didn't really go into anyone's pocket and simply disappeared from the market. For Huang Yao, it's not a loss even if it doesn't go into their pocket. It's only when the 5 billion yuan is given away that the Xing family would feel the pain. I see. Still, Chief Xing, can you hold that grudge for so long? I can hold it for longer. Do you want to try? Su Che quickly waved him off. At the Xing residence. When old Xing learned that Xing Kai had spent 5 billion yuan to buy a piece of land, he was almost overcome with rage. Still, Xing Kai had his own excuse and was very good at diverting the old man's attention. Zhongting is deliberately provoking us, trying to suppress Huang Yao's momentum. Grandpa, I can't let Zhongting's conspiracy succeed. Although we did spend 5 billion to buy the land, in the eyes of others, no one can shake our position in Jianchuan. Did you see the person in charge of Zhongting? The old man turned his attention to the mysterious Zhongting as expected. I saw a young man, but I suspect he's not the real person in charge. Investigate this matter thoroughly. Don't waste your money for nothing. You wouldn't even know you're being toyed with. Don't worry, grandfather. As long as Xing Kai successfully shifted the problem to his face and Huang Yao's honor, the old man would definitely admit defeat. Over the last 6 months, he had become well versed in how to deal with the old man, and would no longer fight him head-on like before. Still, the people in the industry could tell at once that Zhongting had set a trap for Huang Yao. Huang Yao had thought how domineering it was to win the land. In the eyes of others, it was rich and arrogant, a fool with too much money. Gu Xiling had also heard the news from the outside. She could not help but say to Xing Kai, "After spending half a year with you, I have no doubt about your ability. But why did you make such a fool out of yourself now?" Xing Kai asked. Xing Kai's nerves would relax a little as long as he was not facing the old man. "I don't know why, but seeing the person in charge of Zhongting always gives me the desire to defeat him." "Have you been too tired recently?" Xing Kai shook his head and turned to look at his wife. "Maybe. It's been so long since Xing Zhao's incident, but I feel like it happened just yesterday. He's a cripple now. What do you have to worry about?" Xing Kai took a deep breath. Finding his wife's words reasonable, he took his pajamas and went to the bathroom to wash up. The joke this time really made him feel ashamed and resentful. However, since it had already happened, he could only look into Zhongting. Late at night, when Mu Qiqi reached home, she heard the whole family laughing on the sofa. What good thing had happened? Chapter 424. It's all Xing Zhao's fault. He made Huang Yao lose 6.5 billion to buy a piece of land worth only 1.3 billion. Mu Qiqi glared at Xing Xiao after listening to Mama Sheng's explanation. "Are you taking revenge on Huang Yao? There's nothing wrong with a business competition. How is it revenge?" Xing Xiao answered innocently. However, Mu Qiqi had a feeling that her man did it on purpose. "Why are you back so late today?" "Another tough case," Mu Qiqi said to Xing Xiao and got up from the sofa. "I'm going to wash up. Go to bed early, Dad and Mom." "Go ahead," Papa Xing said cheerfully to Mu Qiqi. Ever since they left the Xing family, Papa Xing was more and more satisfied with his daughter-in-law. Before this, he thought that she was young and their family did not live together. That was why he thought that she had bewitched Xing Xiao and misunderstood her a lot. But after living together, he realized that this girl was not pretentious at all. She was sensible and smart. She would think about her family. Most importantly, she was protective. It was no wonder that his son would fall for her completely. "You've seen enough. Let's go back to our room and rest. Son, you're almost ready." Xing Xiao watched his parents go back to their room. Then he picked up the documents and continued reading. Indeed, it was time. Wasn't there a big shot who proposed to hold a top business gathering in Jianchuan? It seemed that it was this month. After taking a shower, Mu Qiqi went downstairs to welcome her man. But just as she sat on his lap, her phone rang. Mu Qiqi looked at the caller ID and knew that it must be another murder case. Another body was found in the sewers. "Come and help, Qiqi." Mu Qiqi hung up and looked at Xing Xiao helplessly. Xiao, I might have to work overtime. It's raining outside," Xing Xiao said to her, glancing out of the window. "It's more likely for murders to happen on rainy days." Mu Qiqi got down from his lap and went upstairs to change her clothes. At that moment, Xing Xiao stood up and said, "I'll send you there, but you still have work to deal with. It's the same in the car." Having said that, Xing Xiao picked up the car key and pulled Mu Qiqi into his arms. "If you go out in the middle of the night again, I'll spank your butt." Xiao, do you know that there have been 2 cases of female swine in the city? Their hands and feet were chopped off and they died so miserably in the sewers. In this world, only we can avenge them. Since the little thing had said so, what else could he say? His usual domineering attitude was useless at this moment. "What if I ask you to go out to the field when I'm sick?" "Tisk, of course I'll take care of you first before I go out. After all, there are people over there." Feng Xianxia is trying her best to make a contribution. It's not that she can't do it without me, but you can't leave me, can you? Mu Qiqi's face was written with one word: self-delusional. Of course, Xing Xiao merely curled his lips and sent her to the spot where the corpse was found. The professor and the forensics team were all there. Feng Xianxia was there too. They held black umbrellas and stood at the entrance of the sewer. The body had already been moved out. "Let's take a look at the corpse first," the professor told Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi nodded. She put on her raincoat and crouched under the canopy. "It's still fresh. From the color of the livor mortis, it's less than 8 hours old." Their hands and feet were also chopped off with a sharp object. There were no other wounds on their bodies and they had all died from excessive blood loss, just like the other 2 corpses. "Did they find red high heels in the sewers too?" "Yes. The other forensics team nodded. She's a fierce one. Women who lived alone liked to wear red high heels. Their backgrounds were clean and they were ordinary office workers. They had no enemies, did not flirt with anyone, and had normal social relations. She must have a fetish or a gender identity disorder. She targeted women between the ages of 23 to 27, and from the wounds on the corpses she was shockingly strong. The problem is, the police have investigated the victims' backgrounds, but they did not find anyone unusual. Mu Qiqi thought about it. Still, we have to find something in common. Something apart from the high heels. It was raining in the night, and Mu Qiqi's petite figure was standing under the canopy. Xianxia was shocked. The little one was not afraid at all in the face of such gruesome corpses. In the end, the cold wind was biting. Mu Qiqi yawned in the canopy. When Xianxia saw that, he quickly called Su Che. Go buy some hot drinks and bring them to me. The forensic doctors on duty thanked Mu Qiqi when they saw that they could still drink hot drinks in such cold weather. Feng Xianxian saw Xingzhao's car not far away, and would be lying if she said she was not jealous. Although she did not know that Xingzhao was now the CEO of Zhongting, her boyfriend, who was also a man, chased her out of bed impatiently and locked the door when he heard that she was going out in the middle of the night. I used to think that forensics was cool when I was with you, but now I know how disgusting it is. Feng Xianxian did not say anything. She drove straight to the crime scene. I think we can start with the high heels. There was only one high heel in each of the 3 murders, and the other was not found in the girls' homes. I think it's still with the murderer. Feng Xianxian voiced her opinion. We can start with the high heels and see if we can find anything. I'm afraid the 4th and 5th victims' corpses would have been found by the time you're done with the high heels. Mu Qiqi retorted. Then according to you, how should we investigate? Look for the murder weapon. So far we haven't found an accurate murder weapon. If we know what weapon it is, we can roughly determine his occupation and approximate his weight. Compared to looking for the high heels, this is more realistic. The murder weapon is the first, the professor said. Go back to the forensics lab and find the sharp object closest to the wound to test it. Feng Xianxian snorted coldly. Still, bring the high heels back for a detailed report. Do a detailed count of the brand, place of origin, date of production, and so on. Also, the rain is too heavy. You two go back first. I'll follow up with the forensics team tonight. Feng Xianxian and Mu Qiqi shared a look and brushed past each other. You're always so annoying. Same to you. The man you ruined is in the car, isn't he? Why can't he come down and greet everyone? Chapter 425. Xiao, let's go home. Before Xingzhao drove off, he glanced at Feng Xianxian, who was taking a taxi. This woman had been bribed by old Xing to keep an eye on Qi. He did not expect her to be so determined to keep an eye on Qi for half a year. Of course, Feng Xianxian did not stop causing trouble for Qi over the past 6 months. Such a person is not worth your time. Leave this woman to me. Mu Qiqi seemed to have seen through Xingzhao. She knew what this man was planning. Feng Xianxian is proud, but it's also because she has real talent. It's just that her boyfriend probably can't stand her anymore. I've asked Aunt Wu to prepare the water for you again. Go home and take a good bath. Got it. Mu Qiqi nodded. Meanwhile, Feng Xianxian had just gotten a taxi and rushed all the way to her boyfriend's house. However, he would not open the door for her no matter what. Feng Xianxian sat in the living room dejectedly. She sat there for the whole night. The next morning, her boyfriend came out of his room and saw her sleeping in the living room. He kicked her awake. Don't come again. Let's break up. What did you say? Feng Xianxian sat up and asked. Did I not make myself clear enough, or is there something wrong with your ears? I said don't come again. I've had enough of you. Every time I see you, you smell weird. I'm in contact with corpses every day. Eating with you really spoils my appetite. That's not what you said when you were chasing me. When I was chasing you, I just thought that your profession was cool. Who knew that it would be so disgusting? Moreover, my parents would not agree to us being together. Let's stop here. With that, the rich man took out a bank card from his wallet. There's 200,000 on it. Consider it your breakup fee. Take the money and get lost. Feng Xianxian found it ridiculous. So she stood up and took the gold card. A relationship of a few years is really cheap. With that, Xianxia took the gold card and left her boyfriend's villa. I said it's cheap. You don't want it. Xianxia did not want it. After walking out of her ex-boyfriend's villa, she broke the card and threw it into the trash can. Although she came from an ordinary family, she believed that she had not coveted anything from her boyfriend in the past few years. Moreover, it was this man who chased after her first. However, she had nowhere else to go, so she went to the forensics lab. It was hard to tell whether Xianxia was a good person or a bad person. That was why Wuxia had always tolerated her surveillance. When Xianxia left the house the next morning, he told Wuxia, "Come with me to a business gathering in 2 days." "Okay, I'll spare some time for you," Wuxia replied. She didn't know that Xianxia was planning to reveal his identity that very night. She didn't think too much about it, and her mind was filled with the case of the high heels woman. Soon Wuxia arrived at school. However, Xianxia, who had always been prideful and complacent, wasn't acting like a follower today. She was quietly sprawled over her desk, probably because she didn't sleep well last night. After school they went to the forensics lab together. However, Wuxia could tell that Xianxia's complexion wasn't quite right. "You look worse than the corpses inside." Xianxia leaned against the door and breathed rapidly, but she still helped the professor with the simulation test of the murder weapon. However, halfway through Xianxia fainted. "Take her to the hospital. She looks so pale." "Professor, please continue." "I'll take her there." Right now the entire forensics team was tied down, and only she and Xianxia were interns, which wasn't that important. The professor nodded and told Wuxia, "Take good care of her." Even though the professor was aware that the two never got along, Wuxia was someone who could tell right from wrong. He was not at all worried that Wuxia would cause trouble for Xianxia since she was a person who could tell right from wrong. Soon Wuxia sent Xianxia to the hospital, where the doctor said after a checkup, "I'm afraid she can't keep the child in her womb." "Are her family here yet?" "I'm her classmate. Can I don't know her family and I don't know how to contact them." "Okay, sign here," the doctor said to her. Another one who didn't take care of herself. After Wuxia signed, the doctor's operation was quick. In less than an hour, Xianxia was wheeled out and she was awake. However, her complexion was very bad and she was even more surprised when she saw Wuxia guarding her in the hospital. If you really think you're so cool, why did you put yourself in such a mess? Do you allow a man to be selfish?" Wuxia glared at her. "You're fine now. You can call your family yourself. I won't keep you company. I was spying on you and you still helped me. Don't get me wrong. Everyone was busy with the experiment, and I was the only one who had the time to send you here." With that, Wuxia turned to leave, but before she walked out of the door she said to her, "Since you're so proud, why did you go to such a rich family? If a man really loves you, it's impossible for him not to take contraceptives." Another blind man. Xianxia remembered that Lu Qianqian, who was close to Wuxia, was also in the same situation. "You win. Now that you have something on me, you can do whatever you want. I'm not that lowly." After saying that, Wuxia really turned around and left. Meanwhile, Xianxia sat on the bed and burst into tears. She was already 22 years old. Unlike Wuxia, if that man was reliable, she could definitely get married and have children. Unfortunately, everything was gone in one night. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Moreover, Wuxia, don't think that I would give up on the Xing family's money just because you helped me. Xianxia thought to herself that she would still do the same thing. But Wuxia had never been afraid. Having met Su Che at the auction, Sheng Kai had a feeling that third brother might really know him. Hence he tested him when third brother returned home. "Do you remember the person who sent you home when you had too much to drink?" Su Che had already spoken to third brother, and it was naturally easy for him to answer such questions. "I don't know him. Isn't he the bartender? I had too much to drink and was delirious. Why are you asking about him?" "He's the person in charge of Zhongting's plot of land in the east of the city." Chapter 426. You're overthinking it. I'm just asking. Third brother nodded. "Alright, I'm going back to my room. Oh, by the way, I heard that there's a top business gathering in a few days. We're all going, aren't we? Sister-in-law, me and you, we're all going. You know very well why you're going. He was going to look for his future wife. Third brother shrugged nonchalantly. He was only concerned if eighth brother would go. I don't know why, but even though I know that eighth brother is useless now, I still feel that he might make a comeback. I don't know if I'm being paranoid. Third brother said nothing and simply slipped into his room to sleep soundly. He could pretend he didn't know if he saw eighth brother at the business gathering. After all, who didn't know how to play dumb? After keeping a low profile for over half a year, it was time for eighth brother to show himself. Otherwise, the outside world would really think that he was crippled. Since Zhongting had tricked Huang Yao, old Xing would definitely not go to Zhongting for in-laws. After all, Su Che had clearly told Xing Kai that they could marry into the Xing family if there were no girls of suitable age in their family. And since there was a grudge, they could only be enemies. Be that as it may, the people of Jianchuan had yet to meet the person in charge. Why was he acting so mysterious? There's no telling which powerful family is pulling strings behind the scenes, toying with people's hearts and making Huang Yao suffer the moment they arrived. So it's just a new company. Could they really fly? If the person in charge of Zhongting is really going to the business gathering, you'd better get back at me for what happened before. The old man instructed Xing Kai. Don't worry, grandfather. I'll bring Xiling and third brother there. We wouldn't lose to Zhongting in terms of momentum. Since you've made all the arrangements, go back and rest. By the way, second brother, don't ignore Xiling's feelings just because you're worried about work. Spend more time with her when you have time. In other words, the old man was implying that he should spend more time rolling in the sheets with Xiling and having children. I understand. Speaking of children, it had already been more than half a year, but there was still no movement. He had no idea why. When he and Gu Xiling got married, she hadn't had a man yet, so there shouldn't be any problems with her body. But in the past 6 months he hadn't used any contraceptives. How could she not get pregnant? Don't think that Xing Kai didn't have any doubts. He was also curious about this matter. Therefore he planned to arrange for a private doctor to do a self-examination when he had time. He would first rule out that there was no problem with his fertility. By the way, it's almost your half-year anniversary of your marriage with Xiling. You should go out and celebrate. Xing Kai nodded, intending to book a table at Empire Hotel. Although it was a contract marriage over the past 6 months, the couple had been acting like they were the real deal. It was hard to tell if they were acting or not. No matter what, as a husband he had to fulfill his responsibilities. So he asked his secretary to make arrangements to book a table and prepare flowers for their half-year anniversary. Feng Xianxia had lost a child, but that B***starred was drinking and dating beautiful women in a hotel. Feng Xianxia found out where her ex-boyfriend was from their mutual friend and took a taxi to Empire Hotel. She didn't want this man, but she wanted justice for the child. So she found the table where the man was having a meal with his new girlfriend in the restaurant. The man was promptly displeased when he saw her. Didn't we break up? How could you find me here? I'm here to see why a man who just dumped his ex-girlfriend 2 days ago could go on a date with a new girl as if nothing had happened. We've already broken up. What do you care? I'm not trying to care about trash like you. I just want to tell this new sister that this man never wears a condom in bed. You could get pregnant by accident and then lose it to him just like me. The girl felt disgusted at those words and rose from the table. Sorry, I'm leaving. What do you get back by doing this? I don't want to get back anything. I just want to see you disgusted. Slap. There was a loud noise and Feng Xianxia was slapped in public just like that. I gave you face but you don't want it. Meanwhile, Xing Kai and Gu Xiling were in the open-air restaurant. Feeling their mood affected by the commotion, they called for the hotel manager. What are the security guards doing in this hotel? I'm really sorry, Chief Xing and Mrs. Sheng. We'll take care of it right away. With that, the hotel manager led the security guards to Feng Xianxia and the scumbag. I'm sorry, but could you please leave? You've seriously disturbed other customers. I'm your VIP. The scumbag shouted. You just have to chase this woman out. Feng Xianxia saw Xing Kai and Gu Xiling not far away. She had seen both of them when she visited the Xing family. Still, they probably wouldn't remember her. No, they wouldn't stand up for her even if they remembered her. Who did she think she was? In the end, it was Mu Qiqi who called. The professor is asking why you're not here yet. What time is it? I'm in Empire Hotel. I'm in a bit of trouble. For some reason, Feng Xianxian had the illusion that Mu Qiqi might be willing to help her. In Mu Qiqi's opinion, that woman loved to torment. Of course, she could understand that Feng Xianxian's current mood was exactly the same as Lu Qianxian's before. Even so, wouldn't you be digging your own grave if you went looking for trouble? Miss, please leave. My friend will be here soon. Feng Xianxian said. Feng Xianxian, this is the first time I've realized that you're so annoying and despicable. This time, Feng Xianxian didn't hold back and promptly slapped the scumbag across his face. You don't deserve to call me by my name. Xing Kai and Gu Xiling were sitting nearby. Unable to hold back at the commotion, he turned to the hotel manager and said, Aren't you going to ask someone like that to leave? She's affecting my anniversary with my wife. Miss, please. Hence, Feng Xianxian was escorted out of Empire Hotel by the security guards. Still, it was here that Feng Xianxian saw the disgusting faces of the Xing family. Over the last 6 months, she had been watching over Mu Qiqi on old Xing's behalf. Although she didn't expect Xing Kai to put in a word for her, it was quite cold-blooded for him to stand by and watch. Chapter 427. When Mu Qiqi arrived at Empire Hotel, she found Feng Xianxian crouching at the entrance, with the hotel's security standing beside her. Mu Qiqi walked up to her in disappointment. You're my enemy. Shouldn't you at least have the self-awareness of being my enemy? Feng Xianxian looked up, her face streaked with tears. All she felt was that she was ridiculous, pathetic, and trampled upon. Now, I finally understand the benefits of being rich. Don't tell me you're even more perverted after being provoked? Mu Qiqi pulled her up from the stairs. If a person wants to be respected, money is secondary. First, you have to think highly of yourself. Having a rich boyfriend would certainly satisfy your vanity, but don't forget that rich young masters are not to be trifled with. Don't you regret ruining the crown prince? Why should I? Mu Qiqi was so angry that she almost laughed. Although I don't want to admit it, your ability is indeed extraordinary. With these, you can also reap a good life. Why must you go to a fancy trash can to find a man? I didn't expect that I have such a high opinion of you. Hurry up and clean up your ugly face. Report to the forensics lab. Mu Qiqi did not want to waste any more time on Feng Xianxian. However, that scumbag of a boyfriend had just stepped out of the hotel. When they saw each other, they hurriedly approached. You slut, you haven't left yet. Great. Helpless, Mu Qiqi went up to him and pushed him away. I know you don't care that Feng Xianxian had a child in her, but you should do some good for yourself. The scumbag laughed when he saw that it was Mu Qiqi. And here I was wondering who it was. I didn't expect it to be the bride, Mu Qiqi. What? You ruined the crown prince, and now you want to drag another man down with you? Are you sure you want to fight me head-on with your meager assets? Mu Qiqi asked in return. Who knows, you might end up worse than Feng Xianxian tomorrow. Considering her identity as a member of the Shen family, the scumbag did not dare to spout nonsense. So he found an excuse to warn Feng Xianxian, don't ever appear in front of me again. Otherwise, I'll beat you up every time I see you. Scum like him, you still don't want to admit it? Were you blind before? Feng Xianxian had nothing to say. In fact, she felt that she was quite a scumbag. Now it was just retribution. After thinking it through, Feng Xianxian wiped away her tears and said to Mu Qiqi, Let's go. Let's go there now. Don't think I'll give in to you just because you helped me. Do I need you to let me? Both of them quickly rushed to the forensics lab, but the couple who had been enjoying a candlelit dinner at Empire had left the hotel as well. Still, when the waiter helped him get the car, he heard that Mu Qiqi had been there just now. Although they were both in Jianchuan, it had been over half a year since he last saw Mu Qiqi. He didn't know whether the woman who ruined Eighth Brother's future had become more tricky and difficult to deal with. Come to think of it, the Shen family's upbringing isn't too good. There's no telling how long Xiao could tolerate Mu Qiqi if he goes. No matter how long he can tolerate, the Xing family can't let him come back. Xing Kai told his wife coldly. His mood had changed the most over the last 6 months. Xiao did not want anything back then. He just wanted Mu Qiqi alone, leaving behind the huge business of Huang Yao. He had gone through so much to bring Huang Yao to a higher level, and he would never be so generous as to hand over his fruits of labor. Moreover, he liked the feeling of dominating others. Still, the girl who caused trouble just now was hired by Grandpa. Aren't we being a little unreasonable for not saying a word for her? Gu Xiling was still keeping the matter in mind. Still, she wasn't really concerned about Feng Xianxian. She simply wanted to test Xing Kai and see if he was paying attention to that girl. Xing Kai shook his head and opened the car door for Gu Xiling. She's hired by Grandpa. What does it have to do with us? Gu Xiling was only satisfied then. Little did she know that she had almost knelt for Feng Xianxian later. Feng Xianxian's love and hate were both strong, and she naturally held a grudge against Xing Kai and his wife. As for Mu Qiqi, she felt that she and Mu Qiqi were very much alike now. Who wouldn't go crazy around people like the Xing family? It was clear from how old Xing had paid her to keep an eye on Mu Qiqi for half a year that the old man's strong desire for control was evident. When they returned to the forensics lab, there was a new breakthrough in the case of the high heels. First, they had confirmed that the murder weapon was an extremely sharp knife, and that the knife was made with the aid of a certain instrument, which was why it didn't take much effort to cut off the victim's limbs. Secondly, he confirmed the connection between the high heels. All three girls had bought them from the same online store. With this information, they could lock onto the next shoe buyer and ensure their safety. Both Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian breathed a sigh of relief when they had a clue. At the very least, there would always be good things happening and not everything would be so terrible. Unwittingly, it was late into the night. When Mu Qiqi was about to leave, Feng Xianxian suddenly told her, "Do you know why I was chased out of the hotel?" Mu Qiqi frowned. Because the current crown prince of the Xing family and his new wife were celebrating their 6-month anniversary up there, and he said that I was disturbing them. So, the Xing family is really annoying. Mu Qiqi sneered and returned home. She felt much more relaxed now that there was a clue to the case. Still, she was a little tired after so many things had happened today. Come to think of it, Feng Xianxian is really an idiot. She knew that going to that scumbag was overestimating herself, and yet she still went for it. Perhaps she wanted to die with him? Xiao smiled softly. Blah. That scumbag wouldn't be hurt even if she blew herself up 10 times. Mu Qiqi retorted. That's why a girl has to be clear about people. And did you know Xiao? Second brother has really changed a lot. He's so powerful now. I've never doubted his ability, but he's never been a strong-willed person. That was why Xiao trusted third brother more than Xing Kai. And as it turned out, he had the right eye. Chapter 428. That's why I'm bringing you to the business gathering in a few days. I know, Xiao. But, can't you make that scumbag Feng Xianxian pay the price first? He provoked me today. He said that I ruined you. Mu Qiqi was angry at the thought. Duan Xiao, and was punished because Lu Qianxian was born into a rich family and could suppress the Duan family. But now Feng Xianxian was really worrying. Her IQ and EQ were worrying. In any case, she was popular in school. But what use was that? Since when did you get so close to Feng Xianxian? I have a feeling that we could use Feng Xianxian in the end to send the wrong message to that old man of the Xing family. Xiao did not believe her nonsense. But he would definitely avenge Mu Qiqi. Because that scumbag had upset his Xiao. Feng Xianxian had thought that Mu Qiqi would spread the news of her pregnancy and miscarriage after being disgusted by her for so long. But when she went to school, she found out that Mu Qiqi was not interested in that at all. She was gauging the heart of a gentleman with her own mean measure. She thought of all the things she had gone through before. But in the end, it was Mu Qiqi, her enemy, who treated her the best. She would continue to follow up with the Xing family. She had been monitoring Mu Qiqi for so long, and she did not think that she should give up on the old man's money. But it was entirely up to her to say what she wanted to say to the old man. At the very least, she was quite disgusted by Xing Kai and Gu Xiling at the moment. But from Xing Kai's point of view, it was not easy for him to promise Gu Xiling that he would keep her company. In the end, it was ruined by her and that scumbag of a rich man. Naturally, he was unhappy. Fortunately, the two of them had a tacit understanding last night. Gu Xiling did not get upset because of what happened in the hotel, so he was relieved. Over the last 6 months, Gu Xiling rarely caused trouble. She was dedicated to being his wife and helping him take care of the Xing family. It would be a lie to say that he was not moved. Still, he was a little worried that the child they had been looking forward to for so long did not come. The next morning, Sheng Kai entered the dining room with a radiant face. Seeing the old man sipping tea at the head of the table, he said, "Grandfather, Xiling and I saw the girl you often see at Empire Hotel yesterday. Seems that she broke up with her boyfriend and her character is really bad. Are you sure she's reliable?" Grandpa Xing looked up at Sheng Kai and said coldly, "What does it have to do with you? You just take care of your Huang Yao. You don't have to worry about this girl's character. It's fine as long as she is Mu Qiqi's enemy." Sheng Kai nodded. "That's true. Go home early and spend more time with Xiling. Wasn't the old man urging them to hurry up and have children?" "Yes, Grandpa. Still, you've had that girl keep an eye on Mu Qiqi for so long." "Is there any news from Xianxia?" As soon as the old man heard the words eighth brother, anger immediately appeared on his face. After all, whether it was Xianxia or eighth brother, their names were taboo to the Xing family. Sheng Kai didn't dare to ask more questions, so he quietly ate his breakfast. Later, third brother came downstairs looking a little dazed. "See if there are any suitable girls at the business gathering in 2 days. You're not young anymore and you're still single. Don't you think it's embarrassing? Not marrying Zhongting?" Third brother asked mockingly. "Why would I have a grandson like you?" Third brother pursed his lips and said nothing. Ever since eighth brother left, the sharp conflict in the family had calmed considerably, mainly because third brother had a strong will to live and was good at smoothing things over. Still, he knew that it was temporary. After the business gathering, the Sheng family would probably blow up again. After Feng Xianxian had a falling out with her scumbag ex-boyfriend at Empire Hotel, her ex-boyfriend had left her things at his doorstep and called her on purpose, telling her to go get them. In truth, he was trying to humiliate her. After all, Feng Xianxian was the one who had mocked him in public that day. Moreover, the little beauty he was going out with was ignoring him. Feng Xianxian was in the forensics lab when she answered the call, and found that Mu Qiqi was looking at her when she hung up. "Is eavesdropping a habit of yours? I just don't get it. Why do you have that scumbag's number in your phone?" Mu Qiqi crossed her arms and shook her head. "Besides, are you really that stupid? Are you really going to be greedy for those things? I don't think those things are important, but the only photo of my parents is in my suitcase. I have to get it back." Feng Xianxian replied. "He wouldn't be so kind as to let you get it. If it were me, I would just throw it away. Isn't that scumbag's intentions obvious? It's none of your business." With those words, Feng Xianxian took off her white coat and left the forensics lab. Of course, Mu Qiqi wouldn't stick to the cold shoulder since Feng Xianxian had put it that way. She simply called Xianxia even though she felt that it was a waste of his time. Su Che quickly received Xing Zhao's order to contact the scumbag's parents. It was easy to deal with someone like that since it was just a small company. Feng Xianxian returned the car to the scumbag and hailed a cab to his mansion. However, when the scumbag saw Feng Xianxian, he pointed at a nearby trash can and said, "Your things are in there. You want them? Go get them yourself." Feng Xianxian knew that it would be such humiliation, and she had to admit that being with that scumbag had pushed her to the limit of her tolerance. That was why she went to the trash can without a word and started to search for the photo. But when she started to stink, the scumbag took out the photo from his pocket and said, "Are you looking for this?" Feng Xianxian's eyes reddened when she saw the photo in his hand. "Give it back. I know you care about your parents, but it's a pity that it's useless for you to keep it. They've already started their own families, so why don't I tear it for you?" With that, the photo was torn into 2 halves in the scumbag's hand. "We've been together for years. Why must you be so ruthless?" Feng Xianxian asked with a trembling voice. Chapter 429. Give me back the photo. You can do whatever you want. That was the most important thing to Feng Xianxian. Even if the scumbag tore it apart, she wanted the pieces of the photo. "Then come here and kneel before me." The scumbag hooked his finger at Feng Xianxian. "Can't you let me go for the sake of my miscarriage?" I told you to scram before but you insisted. Now I've changed my mind. The scumbag arched a brow and placed the photo on the table in front of him. Come here and kneel before me to apologize. I'll let you take the photo away. Xianxia swallowed her anger. She had no other choice but to walk up to the scumbag and kneel on the green grass. Then the scumbag kicked her to the ground. You be *T. You embarrassed me in public. I'll make you happy. Xianxia lay on the ground and clenched her fists. He could not fight back. At that moment, the scumbag's parents suddenly drove up to their son's villa. When the scumbag saw his parents' car parked at the door, he quickly helped Xianxia up from the ground. Xianxia, why did you fall to the ground? He asked with hypocrisy. The scumbag's father was not fooled. After getting out of the car, he walked up to his son, picked up a stool beside him and smashed it on his back. The scumbag fell to the ground and rolled around in pain. Come in. His imposing figure dragged the scumbag into the living room with an absolute aura. Along the way, the scumbag let out a series of screams. In fact, the parents had already arrived when Xianxia was rummaging through the trash. 2 days ago, someone from Zhongting came to discuss a takeover. They did not know the reason, but today they called him and told him to go home and teach his son a lesson. If he had not seen the scumbag humiliating a girl, he would have thought himself innocent. However, after seeing what his son had done as a father, he couldn't say anything. He did not know that he had raised such a scumbag. Xianxia was helped into the living room by the scumbag's mother. They knew that their son had a girlfriend, but they had never met her in an ordinary family. They did not expect that their first meeting would be under such circumstances. Xianxia did not know what was going on. She followed him into the living room of the villa. However, the scumbag's father found a golf club and swung it at his son. The screams came one after another. When the scum vomited blood, the scum's father finally stopped. Dad, you're going to kill me. Beating you to death is considered a light punishment. If it wasn't for breaking the law, I would have chopped you up today. The scumbag's father said to his son, do you know that you've offended someone you shouldn't have? If the company goes bankrupt, not to mention you're now a rich second generation, I'm afraid you can only go to the streets and become a beggar. You still want a girl to kneel to you. Let me tell you, from today onwards I won't give you a single cent. I want to see how you're going to continue fooling around. The scumbag lay on the ground moaning. After this beating, he would probably have to stay in the hospital for 10 days to half a month. Dad, our family is so rich. If you don't give it to me, who will you give it to? Even if I donate it, I won't give it to you. With that, the scumbag's father stood up from the sofa and walked to Xianxia. I didn't know this animal was such a thing. I heard that you lost your body because of him 2 days ago. I don't have anything here and I don't know how to compensate you. I can only express my sincerity and hope that you can live a happy life in the future. Xianxia looked at the father and did not take the check. She only said, I haven't used his money in the years I've been with him, so I won't take it now. I've driven the sports car and other things, but I've returned them. I broke the card he gave me as a breakup fee and threw it away. I only want the photos of my parents. With that, Xianxia turned around and planned to leave the scumbag's house. When the scumbag's father heard what Xianxia said, he kicked the scumbag a few more times. I hope that when you go back, Miss Feng, you can put in a good word for me in front of the person in charge of Zhongting. I will definitely take care of my son later. Xianxia did not understand what the father meant. She simply picked up the photo of her parents from the garden and left the scumbag's house. At the very least, she had seen the scumbag get beaten up with her own eyes just now, and it was a relief. Still, she did not believe that it was a coincidence that her parents came, especially when the scumbag's father told her to put in a good word for him in front of the person in charge of Zhongting. How would she know the person in charge of Zhongting? The only person who would poke her nose into such matters was Mu Qiqi. Wait, Mu Qiqi. Zhongting? Although Xianxia was kicked, it was not a heavy one. Compared to the pain that the scumbag had suffered just now, it was nothing. Later, Xianxia returned to the forensics lab and stuck the photo with a transparent tape before carefully putting it back in her pocket. Mu Qiqi said when she saw it when she was done with her experiment. I couldn't tell that you're such a filial son. Why are you always peeking at others? Get it straight. You're in the forensics lab and such an obvious place is for people to see. You could have stuck it back at home otherwise. Xianxia had nothing to say. Pausing for a moment, she then said, You helped me today, didn't you? What does that have to do with me? Otherwise, no one in this world would care about me, Feng Xianxian said. The photo you saw just now was when I was 15 years old. It was the last photo of my parents before they divorced. After that, the two of them started their own families. Other than giving me a fixed amount of money every month, they didn't ask about anything else. But why would I tell you that? What happened to you at the Mu family back then is no less spread and not much better than me. Mu Qiqi said nothing and simply washed the utensils in silence. Your family built Zhongting, didn't they? Or perhaps the crown prince built it. How so? Otherwise, I can't think of any other reason why someone from Zhongting would help an annoying stranger like me. At those words, Mu Qiqi turned to look at Feng Xianxian. So, are you going to tell the Xing family? Feng Xianxian smiled but said nothing. Chapter 430. Come to think of it, it was time for her to complain to the Xing family. One night later, Feng Xianxian asked Mu Qiqi as she was leaving the forensics lab. Do you want me to tell the Xing family? I really don't need that. It's up to you. The two of them still maintained this kind of atmosphere. As long as they were together, they would be at daggers drawn. Especially in school, Feng Xianxian still had many good friends while Mu Qiqi was still a lone wolf. But for now, Feng Xianxian would not really cause trouble for Mu Qiqi in private. In fact, on the surface, the two of them seemed to be competing with each other, but in fact they were both cool and had done many things for each other. Mu Qiqi mainly treated Feng Xianxian because of the miscarriage and the scumbag. Feng Xianxian, on the other hand, blocked a lot of rumors for Mu Qiqi. Naturally, the main reason was still the Xing family. As a matter of fact, old Xing would sometimes have Feng Xianxian come to him if he wanted to know something, and at other times he would go to her personally. However, the matter with Mu Qiqi had become more and more boring over the last 6 months. That was why the old man had been too lazy to seek her out, and would have her come by herself, with the butler bringing her to the old man's study. It was the same on this night. Feng Xianxian followed the old butler when she arrived at the Xing residence. Along the way she met the other members of the Xing family including Gu Xiling. Gu Xiling recognized Feng Xianxian at once and asked the butler, "Did Grandpa bring this woman in again?" "Young madam, it's Grandpa's business. Servants like us shouldn't ask." Gu Xiling, dressed in a long white dress, glared at Feng Xianxian imperiously. "We've met at Empire Hotel. I remember." Feng Xianxian's words held a hidden meaning. "I don't understand why Grandpa would think so highly of you. Perhaps you have something special about you, but I was a little surprised when I saw you that day at the hotel. I think that you should at least maintain your basic manners as a woman and don't cross the line again. I don't think I have to listen to your teachings, young madam," Feng Xianxian retorted stubbornly before turning to the old butler. "Let's hurry inside." Gu Xiling was stunned. It seemed to be the first time she met such a stubborn person. It was the second time. Mu Qiqi was one of them. Was that why the old man valued this woman so much that she kept an eye on Mu Qiqi? Birds of a feather really do flock together. Feng Xianxian did not take Gu Xiling's words to heart. She only had one boss and that was Grandpa Xing. A moment later, the two of them entered the old master's study, where the old master was practicing calligraphy. "Chairman, I'm here to report as usual. There's nothing special, let's go back," Grandpa Xing said. "However, you haven't seen Xianxia even once in such a long time." Grandpa Xing was always angry when others mentioned Xianxia. However, he could mention it himself. That was how capricious he was. "I've only seen him once. There was a murder in the middle of the night. He drove Mu Qiqi to the crime scene. He was driving a very ordinary car and he looked very dispirited," Feng Xianxian replied. "He doesn't look like the handsome crown prince at all. What can you do even if you're willing to be ruined by that bitch? In the future you can come here once every 2 weeks. Or if you have any special discoveries you can come here directly. I see that the young madam of your family doesn't like me. I'll call you from now on," Feng Xianxian suggested. After all, the Xing family isn't a place commoners like us can just come in. The old man frowned at that but nodded. "That works." The family was so arrogant that they considered themselves kings and emperors. And when Feng Xianxian left the Xing family's residence, The servants kept a close eye on her. Were they afraid that a commoner like her would steal something? It was no wonder Mu Qiqi hated the Xing family so much. There was no normal person who wouldn't hate such a family. Their eyes were all on top of their heads. After leaving the Xing family's residence, Feng Xianxian turned to look at the huge mansion. They had a lot of money, but they were really stupid. Xianxia had kept a low profile and built Zhongting in just half a year, widening the horizons of everyone in Jianchuan. And yet this family was so short-sighted. It was no wonder Jianchuan lived up to its reputation. She really wanted to know what the family's expression would be when they realized the relationship between Zhongting and Xianxia. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi was leaning on Xianxia's body and reading past cases. Still, when she remembered that Feng Xianxian had gone to the Xing family, she tugged at Xianxia's sleeve and asked, "Do you think Feng Xianxian would tell the Xing family about your relationship with Zhongting? Don't you know the answer in your heart?" Xianxia glared at her. "Do you really need me to praise your wisdom and decisiveness?" Mu Qiqi laughed and wrapped her arms around Xianxiao's neck. "I heard that Feng Xianxian's ex-boyfriend was sent to the hospital after being beaten up by his own father. Suche is so reassuring. You've vented your anger." "Of course I've vented my anger with my husband. It feels good." Xianxia pressed down on Mu Qiqi's head to stop her from moving around. This little one was getting better and better at flattering people. He wondered if there would come a day when she would climb onto his head and pee on it. "So when is the business gathering?" "In 2 days. Xianxia replied. "I'm getting a little excited just thinking about it." Mu Qiqi chuckled. On the next day, Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian ran into each other in school. The professor called them to inform them that the case of the high heels corpse had been solved. Both of them shared a look, but neither said a word. No one could understand this kind of love-hate relationship. It turned out that the culprit was the lover of the shoe shop owner. She would wear those heels every time they went on a date, which left a deep mark in his heart. Later, when he found out that the woman was wearing red heels with someone else, he killed her in a fit of impulse, chopping off her limbs and throwing her into the sewers. From then on, he hated anyone who bought these red high heels. That was why he pretended to be the man's lover and continued selling shoes online. He would get the address of anyone who bought those red heels and kill them to vent his anger. To experience that pleasure, he even built a machine with his own hands that could instantly remove the limbs of a corpse. Chapter 431. The top business gathering would be held in the Grand Houston Square in a day's time. On that day, the representative of Zhongting would really be there. This time it was not a fake news. But before that, Sheng Kai took the time to do a physical checkup. Once the results were out, his personal doctor immediately called him and asked him to make time to see the doctor. Sheng Kai did not tell Gu Xiling about it. It was a man's pride anyway. So, his personal doctor was personally invited to his office by his assistant and brought his checkup report. "Chief Sheng, I'm afraid you need to go to the hospital for a more comprehensive checkup," the doctor suggested as he placed his examination report on the table. "I suspect that you have immune infertility." Sheng Kai's expression changed when he heard that. "Explain clearly." The doctor took some time to explain to Sheng Kai the cause of immune infertility and the consequences of it. "But there is no big problem in that aspect of my life. There may be a hereditary history," the doctor explained. "Can it be treated?" "Of course, but I need your cooperation." Sheng Kai could cooperate, but he did not want anyone to know that he could not have a child, especially Gu Xiling. It was a man's pride. "I can cooperate, but I must make sure that no one else knows." With his current physical condition, it was almost impossible to get Gu Xiling pregnant. So that night, even when Gu Xiling took the initiative to invite him, he did not have the intention. Instead, he was in a state of alertness and irritation. "What's wrong?" Gu Xiling had never seen him like this. "I'm just too tired from work." "It's nothing. Go to sleep," Sheng Kai explained and comforted Gu Xiling. Gu Xiling thought that he was under too much pressure, so she didn't ask much and quickly fell asleep. However, Sheng Kai couldn't fall asleep no matter how hard he tried. He could not even give Gu Xiling a child. If this matter were to spread, his reputation as the CEO of Huang Yao and the head of the Sheng family would be ruined. He would become a laughing stock. After all, not many men could endure such humiliation. The next day Xianxia went to the Shen family before heading to Zhongting. After all, Shen Jianchuan was the one who made him who he was, which was why in his heart Shen Jianchuan was his father just like Papa Sheng. The reason why he went to the Shen family was to ask Shen Jianchuan if he wanted to attend the business gathering that night. Shen Jianchuan knew that he had already decided to reveal his identity. He did not want to monopolize this identity, so he was willing to share it with him. However, Shen Jianchuan was more willing to be the person behind the scenes. After all, it was the era of the young. It was safer for the older generation to hide at the back. I will remember your kindness. But I hope that you will use your kindness on my daughter. I am satisfied with your performance so far. As for the business gathering, it is an occasion for you youngsters. I will stay at home and fish with the old man. Shen Jianchuan had his reasons for not attending. After all, the whole Shen family was in the limelight now. It was better for him to stay away from them so that his brother could be the mayor for a longer time. When Cheer turns 20, I plan to bring her abroad for registration. It doesn't matter if you have that piece of paper. Shen Jianchuan was not in a hurry. He wanted to keep his daughter for a few more years anyway. Dad, you should find yourself a partner. Shen Jianchuan smiled and waved for Xianxia to leave. Go do what you need to do. Why bother with an idler like me? Xianxia did not stay long at the Shen family. Their houses were too close and it was convenient for them to visit each other. Still, before Xianxia went to Zhongting, he told Su Che to send the gown he had made for Qi to the villa so that she could try it on. Now the little one's figure was becoming more voluptuous. Xianxia did not want other men to stare at her, but he did not want to overshadow her beauty either. Tonight, let's watch a good show. The Sheng family would not be prepared for it, since Xianxia had hidden it too well over the last 6 months. And Jing Yun would attend the gathering with Xing Minglan. Of course, all he was interested in was watching the Xing family put on a good show. At 6 in the evening, Xing Minglan was changing at home. When she saw that Jing Yun had changed too, she said, "Why don't we go with Qi? Let them go alone. It would be more surprising that way." Xing Minglan thought about it and nodded. She felt a surge of emotions at the thought of Xianxia returning to his peak. Meanwhile, third brother had changed into a dark green suit and a bow tie as he came downstairs. When he saw that Xing Kai and Gu Xiling were dressed up, he gave them a thumbs up. What a perfect match. Xing Kai was wearing a dark blue handmade suit, while Gu Xiling was wearing a white halter dress. Although they were beautiful in such cold weather, were they not afraid of catching a cold? Of course, to Xing Kai it was enough to save face. He had never been particularly concerned about Gu Xiling's health, especially after he found out what was wrong with him. He was even more afraid to talk about health. Hence, the trio got into the Lincoln stretch limousine. Meanwhile, third brother was tidying his sleeves along the way, and could not help mocking himself. I'm still lacking a woman. Having a lady from a good family like sister-in-law for a wife is such a relief. Grandpa is asking you to go so that you can find someone who understands you. Gu Xiling quickly said. We'll meet the person in charge of Zhongting soon. I really want to know who the person who made me pay 6.5 billion is. Third brother pretended not to understand, and pretended to be a depressed youth as he looked out the window. Otherwise he would have laughed out loud. It was not that he had anything against Huang Yao or second brother, but eighth brother's brain had been specially made by God. Anyone who dared to compete with him in the business world would only be asking for humiliation. He just hoped that second brother would not have a heart attack from his anger tonight. Since he was the CEO of Huang Yao, the trio were invited to the main hall when they arrived. There were no less than 100 guests in the hall that resembled a heavenly palace. Third brother searched everywhere for Xianxia, but he did not seem to have arrived. If that was the case, he could get to know the little beauty who was already there. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.